All right, looks like we're live. I'm here as I usually am with the tails and knuckles to my Sonic, Undertow, and Artistic Layman.
Hello, everyone.
And
how's
Argent,
everybody doing this evening?
and Argent's joining us for the second time. Good having you.
Had a lot of fun last time.
All righty. So a lot of topics I want to cover this week. I want to talk about JonTron, Amy Schumer, Mass Effect Andromeda, a lot of stuff like that. But first, let's talk about Rachel Maddow, shall we?
Yes, let's.
Which, by the way, side note, doesn't Rachel Maddow look like the guy from Ferris Bueller's Day Off? Like the guy that played Cameron?
Yes, she does, and I have thought that for a long time.
I'm just saying, like that's. But anyways, so Rachel Maddow, I think this was Tuesday this week, was it? She gets on Twitter and she's like, "I got Trump's tax returns. I'm gonna put them on air." Everyone's like, "Oh fuck." Well, I guess we should, a lot of people had to figure out what channel MSNBC is on their cable, and then they had to tune in. And she had Trump's 2005 1040 form, like 2 pages.
Yeah. By the way, it's a federal offense to release someone's tax information.
Yes, she broke the law for nothing.
But she of course isn't going to be persecuted because she's a journalist. She's just bringing it to the public opinion. She got it from an anonymous source who
I genuinely hope the Justice Department does file charges here, because that's how these people have to be dealt with. But this was nothing. Van Jones was even on CNN that night saying like this was a good night for Trump. This was pathetic. I mean, it's not like she had great ratings before, but she shot her career in the fucking strap-on tonight. I would normally say in the dick, but like her ratings plummeted to I think something like an all-time low for her. The day after, she lost something like 40% of her ratings. It was a bad night for her. Now the rumor mill, and I kind of suspect this is true, is that Trump purposely leaked this form to her, knowing that he would trigger this idiot's amygdala and get him to act a fool, and they did. I think he probably did leak it directly to her. I didn't watch. I kept hearing about it, but I didn't watch it because I'm not going to watch Rachel Maddow because
I have a confession. I actually used to watch Air America like all the time, and I actually used to watch her show when she was on the radio.
I used to watch her show during the Bush years somewhat.
I used to eat my boogers in 3rd grade. We all do stupid things.
No, it's seriously I used to watch MSNBC during the Bush years just because I really hadn't discovered a lot of alternative media sources back then. The internet wasn't quite as ubiquitous, at least not in my life. And Fox News' constant sucking of W's dick did get tiring after a while. So I did watch some MSNBC back in the day, but man, Rachel Maddow was basically always insufferable.
It's kind of funny. Well, I think it's kind of says something because a lot of what they said about Bush was true, and a lot of what they said about the economic situation, trade, all these things was true. It's just funny that when Obama started doing it, they didn't care anymore. Like I did a video called "We've Always Supported the Big Banks," where I just went through it, and I think the banks gave like 98% of their money to Hillary Clinton. They gave no money to Trump. And suddenly everyone on the left was like, oh, the banks are great. We love big finance. We love Wall Street.
Interesting how their attitude changes when the dictatorship is in their control.
Mm-hmm. No, but I'm just saying, like, it kind of makes sense that a lot of us might have been watching their stuff back then.
Yeah, I there was a time when I actually respected Keith Olbermann. God forgive me.
Yeah, me too.
You know, I used to tune into when Countdown was like, I think in like 05, I tuned into Countdown damn near religiously each night.
Yeah, I watched it all the time.
That was one of I remember the 06 election here in the States when the Democrats swept Congress, and they did so on a mandate of ending the Iraq War. That was why they swept Congress. You know, pull us out of this mess. And they promptly ignored that mandate and then like tried to raise the minimum wage and stupid shit like that. It was one of the first times in like that I had directly observed a mandate being ignored so thoroughly by a party that just used it to get into power. I mean,
I only in power for 4 years, and then it just spectacularly exploded.
I mean, Obama managed to get reelected because in 2012 he ran against nothing, but you know he presided over the death of the Democrat Party. I've seen Democrats even argue that despite the
I just cut my thumb with an X-Acto knife a little bit, so I'm gonna go put a Band-Aid on this. I'll be back in a sec, guys.
I know Obama talking about Obama makes me. Oh, okay, that was. Oh, okay, he was being serious.
But yeah, like I've seen Democrats write articles talking about how there's demographics moving in Democrats' favor, but not moving fast enough. With the Electoral College, the way it's stacked and all, you know, Democrats are looking at a lot of time in the political wilderness if something doesn't drastically change in their favor.
Well, but if Trump does any of the things, like I've been thinking about this, if he does actually physically remove the illegals, if he does improve the economy and maybe get it so like white people can start having more babies again, I don't know. Like I think demographics may not be that bad because the truth of the matter is conservatives and like religious people have children, liberals don't.
Yes. Yeah, I don't think this country is nearly as absolutely doomed as some people say. But I mean, there's obviously problems. But the Democrats are looking at a lot of time in the political wilderness, and most of them, I don't think, have accepted that. They live in these bubbles where they just assume the whole world is against Trump. You know, everyone hates Trump, and they don't see that this neoliberal globalism bullshit of theirs is just losing ground every step along the way. Even their victories are you know, cost them more than they gained.
I mean, this whole tax reveal was supposed to be a victory.
Well, this is a strategy that a lot of, and I've talked to some people who work in politics. This is a strategy a lot of conservatives do, where basically they take an issue that really triggers like liberal elites, but the average person doesn't give a shit about. And then they get the liberals, they do a leak or something, and they get them to go into hysteria about this stuff. And they're in this hysteria. And then the average person looks at it and they're like, what the fuck is this? They're like, why are these people screaming and like throwing a hissy fit about this? And I think that's kind of the Trump thing, because he's basically got it. Like, I remember when he got elected, there was a series of articles that he was the least transparent American presidency because he didn't tell the media when he was going out to a steak dinner with his family.
Oh, I remember that.
He was like a dictator because of that.
I think they were mad they didn't get to go to dinner with Trump, and they threw the most epic hissy fit for like a week.
Like, I think if the average person hears about that and they see that article, they're like, this guy's fucking bonkers.
Yeah, and a Democrat strategist, I think it was on Twitter, I can't remember the name. It was hardly a right-wing guy, said the Democrats are in this bad position where their base is absolutely fired up about this Russian nonsense, and the average American doesn't give a fuck. And they're stuck in this position, you know, where they've made this monster, and now they don't know what to do with it.
Well, I mean, it just sounds crazy to the average person. Okay, some like random Russians somehow hacked the election.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and the worst,
Which
the
had a
worst
lot
you
of
could
paper
say-
ballots, mind you.
The worst you could say is that Russia exposed the crimes of the Democrat Party.
How dare they?
I mean, personally, I think it was a leak. I think it was some whistleblower who is like had a conscience. He's like, this shit is really messed up. I'm just gonna leak it.
That's what I was on Jordan's channel last night, Jordan Owen's channel last night, and I mentioned that too because he was like, I think the Russians hacked him. I'm like, no, if I was a betting man, I'd say it was a leak. In my opinion, I think it was probably a Bernie supporter who got disenfranchised when he saw how badly Bernie got fucked, and that Bernie rolled over and took it like a cuck. But yeah, that's probably what it was. And that's what Julian Assange says it was. And he's a pretty trustworthy guy.
When it comes to this kind of thing, yeah.
He for about 15 years there, he's been far more trustworthy than any of the people contradicting him right now.
I mean, let's just Occam's razor for a moment. Which sounds more plausible? That the Russian government hacked into the Democrat National Committee's email server and then leaked the emails at strategic times to rig the election, or one of the interns or one of the people who was reading it was like found the Bernie documents and was like, wow, this is really messed up. They were totally going to cheat this guy. I'm just going to save this on a thumb drive and send it to Julian Assange. I mean, like that happens all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. And again, like I said, if the Russians did hack into the Democrat Party and expose this shit, well, thanks, Vlad. Thanks for exposing the crimes of these traitorous filth. We owe you one. Well, speaking of taxes, there's another gentleman who's having a little bit of a tax problem. Let me see if I can bring up the article. Because I want to have the. Oh, I guess I should also preface this with a trigger warning, because I know some of you may not be able to handle this, but I'm going to criticize Richard Spencer a little bit here. Now I know he's a good boy who didn't do nothing, so some of y'all dick riders may not be able to handle this, so you may want to tune this off for a little bit. But I'm going to go after Spencer here. Apparently, Richard Spencer for what is it? The National Policy Institute, I believe is his organization's name. Lost the tax exempt status for this. Now, when I first saw this article, I thought, I bet you they are targeting him for political reasons. Oh, by the way, another this is actually funny. Another article on it had said that Richard Spencer gets federal subsidies for a cotton farm, which is just fucking hilarious. Like that's fantastic. Yeah, who says God doesn't have a sense of humor? But I'm trying to find the article because I want to find the actual quote. But I thought, okay, well, I guess he's getting targeted for political reasons. No, he just didn't fucking file, right?
High time preference kills.
Yeah, and there's one quote in there that's just really telling. And again, I want to get it right, and I'm having a hard time finding the article here. But supposedly, he says a mistake on the part of the IRS led us to believe we didn't need to file. Now, unpacking that statement alone shows. Now, look, I don't have a great deal of problem with Richard Spencer politically. I certainly have disagreements with him, but there's basically no political position of his I know of that I don't think is at least reasonable and worth discussing. My problem with Richard Spencer has always been, I think he's a slime ball. And this again proves it. You know, cocksucker couldn't even take some fucking responsibility there. The IRS made me think I didn't have to do it. You know, no, you get out there and say, apologize for the screw up and say you're going to fix it. That's how you respond to that. That's how a man responds to that. All right.
Well, he generally kind of did that, but that doesn't change the fact that he trusted someone else to do the work for him.
No, he's out there saying like, "Oh, I thought the IRS made me." No. You don't say that. I don't care if that's even what happened. You don't say that. You say you take responsibility because you're the leader, and you say you're going to get it fixed. All right, but no. So how does anybody take this idiot seriously? So how does any of you not see through him?
Did he have an accountant or something? Like, wouldn't his accountant have been like, "Hey, you have to file this," or
well,
you got to
maybe the problem with Richard Spencer's political views is you don't exactly get access to the best accountants. Oh. You know what I'm saying? that could have been
I have a Goy accountant do my taxes.
Yeah, that's what you think.
I'm sorry, I couldn't resist that joke. The fruit was too low.
I admit it took me a minute. I feel embarrassed that my anti-Shlomoism isn't up tonight.
Well, I think what's appealing about, in my perspective, what's so appealing about Richard Spencer is that he's basically he's what the liberals like about Anita Sarkeesian. They're saying the things that are appealing to our issues and our interests. And he's kind of like the and you saw that video about Aaron Clary doing a Aaron Clary test on him. And basically he's a person who doesn't have a law work experience. And he's basically a wealthy person who has access to law, liberal, and money gathering skills. So really he's like a liberal equivalent of what white interests.
I've heard a friend of mine on Facebook referred to him as the Lena Dunham of the right. In that he's just a talentless fucking trust fund baby.
Oh, how dare you mention Lena Dunham? I just ate dinner like an hour ago.
Somebody actually photoshopped I wish I had the picture in front of me. I'm trying to find it to have Luke throw up. Somebody photoshopped his fucking head on Lena Dunham's body. And it's remarkable because of how shapeless Lena Dunham is, how much a male head doesn't look out of place on it. But yeah, I'm sorry, I don't really understand how people don't see through the guy. I really don't. I kept quiet about it for a while, but from basically the moment I became aware of this guy's existence, I'm like, that guy's not right. He's just fucking slimy. But yeah, he just was too stupid to fucking file, Now, I mean, I'm sure he's swimming in donations from, all manner of good boy points, throwing their allowances way. But this probably hurt that organization. Tax exempt status, it can make or break a place like that. Oh, I found the picture. I gotta have Luke throw this up.
All right, sorry.
Oh my god, this is perfect. All right, I'll send it to you on Skype there, Luke. Oh man.
I'm still mad at you for mentioning Lena Dunham. I'd almost repressed her existence. Honestly, it's hard for me to think of someone just more repulsive as a human being, physically, like in personality-wise, than her.
I got one.
Okay, who?
There it is.
Spencer.
Who?
Richard Spencer.
There it is. Look at that picture.
That's a joke.
Look at that. And of course, because it was from, I guess, girls, there's a dude taking a dump in the background.
Oh.
Like, what was the thought process behind creating that show, Lena? Was it like you watch Sex
and
the
why do you take that off? I don't want to see that guy's shit.
Like, what was the thought process there? It's like you watch Sex in the City and you thought, this would be good if all the characters were younger, fatter, and completely devoid of redeeming characteristics.
I tried watching it and it made me like physically ill.
It's horrendous. It is. It's bad, and everyone involved should feel bad. And speaking of things for which everyone involved should feel bad, Mass Effect Andromeda, everybody.
Whoa! Hey.
I actually refuse to like watch any trailers, view anything about it.
Oh, it's amazing, dude. Like the animations are so awful that if you just go back and forth, your characters like their knees start going sideways. The faces look like rubber. They're just like their mouths are just opening and closing like straight up and down. Awful. And need I mention that in one of the cutscenes, a character holds up a gun and the gun is literally backwards. It's pointing the wrong way and a muzzle flash comes out of the stock.
There's one I saw where somebody walks behind this one big alien and just fucking vanishes. Like they walk behind them and then they're gone. You know what I mean? Like it just disappear into the fucking shadow realm when they're behind this person. Like it's so. I mean, it's fucking Revolution 60 fucking levels of unfinished. And I mean, this is a major franchise with a fucking AAA company. You know, this is what happens when you let SJWs in charge of shit.
That
because
not only company is BioWare.
Not only do they put, not only do they put all their faggotry in it, but they're just incompetent. The talent and social justice is oil and water. They can't occupy the same space. The more of one that is in a person, the more of the other will be repelled.
Now, my good friend Raging Papist and I actually did like a hangout about this because he's knowledgeable. So he was saying BioWare is deliberately trying to make the female characters look worse.
Yes, and they're succeeding with flying colors.
Like he was pointing out, if you look at Miranda in Dragon Age 2, she actually doesn't look bad. She's like kind of the short hair.
Over the course of that series, her face melts.
In 3, all the female characters look horrific. Like they look pretty good in the first 2 games, but they look horrific in 3, and that they've deliberately, for social justice reasons, trying to make it look worse and worse and worse.
Yeah. And that's a good choice of words because it's not like they're not just getting uglier; they are genuinely frightening to look at.
Yeah, they look disgusting.
Like Lena Dunham.
Yep.
Oh, you made me think of Lena Dunham and Dragon Age 3 Miranda at the same time. You bastard.
So I think I found a collection of videos. Are these parodies?
No.
Of what?
I don't even need to know. I can almost immediately tell you.
Well, I don't know. What are you looking at?
Mass Effect Andromeda, alarming facial animations and signage of indoctrination.
I mean, at least remember what was the Assassin's Creed game a few years ago? Oh, good God, it's horrendous. Fucking makes Reboot look good.
Hey, don't diss Reboot.
Hey.
Oh, this. Oh God, yes. Okay, so this is a bunch of fanboys saying. What?
Word me before you put that shit up on screen. I literally saw it out of the corner of my eye. Oh my God.
Listen, this video, I can tell you from what the title is, what this video is. This is probably some fanboy saying that the reason everybody looks like they're a freaking space cadet is because they're actually falling under the mind control of the Reaper aliens. No, you fucking idiots. Stop making excuses every lazy
Stop fucking zooming in on that, dude. Just please. Like
that is disturbing. That is some
isn't it?
Valley shit.
That looks worse than some N64 games.
I was gonna say that's like PS2 level shit. If that
No, PS2 looks better. I mean, there's no textures. Go back to the face for a second. I'm prepared. I'm not gonna vomit. But there's no textures on that face.
No. There's a texture. There's one of just pure oil. Look how reflective it is.
It looks like flat.
Yeah.
Also, for being a strong, independent woman, she's wearing a lot of makeup. She is awful.
You can't. You look at. Okay, just let that play for a second. You cannot look at this. You cannot grasp how ugly and unnatural all these movements are until you see it in motion.
Well, there's the one where
look at this.
Do you have this on like 720?
Look at that. Hold on. Go back a little bit. Okay, watch when she disarms, when she takes this gun. For one thing, that's terrible. Look at the way her mouth moves. Her jaw is not moving. Her lips are just moving.
What was go back? I want to focus on her grabbing the gun. Her
jaw doesn't move.
Go back. Look at the gun grab motion. That was horrendous.
I'll slow it down for you a bit.
Look at the way she grabs the gun.
Yeah, just lazily reach.
It looks like she grabs the gun, drops it, and another gun materializes in
because that's what they're actually doing. That's the way they're faking it because they couldn't actually animate it.
So yeah, that's actually what happened.
She turned it around.
See, she has a superpower where if she touches something, she can make an identical one of those things appear in her hand. That's what it is.
For another thing, let's just talk about failing at the premise a little bit. Shout outs to Smudboy on YouTube. He's amazing. He's been digging into this series something hardcore. He's an ex-fan of BioWare.
That is a weird fucking smile on her face.
Isn't it the most unnatural thing you've ever seen?
You know that old guy you see in the memes, like the stock photo guy who has that
hide the
smile,
Pain Herald,
but he looks like he's crying. That's
the Pain Herald. That's his
name.
There
you go. Hide the Pain Herald's granddaughter.
Who is this character, anyways?
She's just some random person. The idea here is that you are a part of the Pathfinder program, and the Pathfinders are people who go out and find new planets to settle in the Andromeda Galaxy.
Random person. That's how
you spend
granddaughter.
Hold on. And you spend the entire game going to places that have already been settled.
Well, that doesn't seem like they're doing their job then.
She kind of reminds me of.
And the thing is,
are they on vacation?
Right. The thing is, all you have to do is just not make that the premise. All you have to do is say, "Hi, we're hiring you to be a diplomat between our new colonies here in the Andromeda Galaxy." Done. Why would you say that it's something that you never do in the game? It's beyond retarded.
That's some quality game making right there.
That is some quality content.
We need to get
yeah. It's not about whether a game is fun. It's about how many freaking hours you waste playing it.
I think DSP actually defended Mass Effect Andromeda.
Of course he did.
I'm sure he did, the little shit.
Pain Herald. I didn't know that was the name for this guy.
Yes, Hide the Pain Herald. He's amazing.
Okay, you know what she looks like? She looks like the cutscenes from StarCraft 1.
Oh, Jesus.
She looks like one of the Marines or something.
Yeah, she looks like she's from a reboot.
Yeah, she looks like StarCraft 1 or something. Like, what were they... How long did this game take to make? It's been a while, hasn't it?
Yeah. It's like, when did Mass Effect 3 come out? Like, what, 2013, 2014? Or was it 2012?
Was like the development cycle just, like a whole lot of hookers and blow, and then the Sunday
hookers and blow, that's misogynist.
And then like the game was due Monday morning, it's like 1 p.m. on a Sunday, like, oh, we better start.
I know, she kind of reminds me of Rob Ford, the former mayor of Toronto, a bit, but she looks like someone, I just can't tell who. I don't know. Like, I was pretty sure this was going to be bad, but I didn't think it would be this bad. What else have they announced anything else? Like, what's going to be their follow-up?
Oh, who gives a shit? I don't know.
I like the animation where the person's like walking or running across like an area, and it looks like they took a shit in their pants.
Yeah, like, that's what I was talking about with if you just tap sideways a bunch.
Yeah, okay. Before I slip my wrists, I have to ask, was Persona 5 good at least? Did they fuck that up?
I don't know. Okay. I really like the character designs and the music. That's about all I've seen of it, though.
Okay, it's got like 9s out of 10. Okay, that's good. I'm not going to have to
slip my wrists. You're probably safe.
Luke, I got a picture you got to throw up.
At least there's one franchise they haven't destroyed yet.
Oh, I just saw this on Twitter.
I'm still salty about EA destroying Command and Conquer. I'll never forgive them for that.
Yeah.
That was
Did you play Grey Goo?
I just didn't like it very much.
Oh yeah, it kind of was more of the Command and Conquer style RTS.
Yeah,
a little bit.
And what is this?
It's one of the Andromeda characters, I guess. Somebody photoshopped a.
That's the same girl. That's the same girl that disarmed that person.
Please be patient. I have one. That is an autistic look on that person's face.
What is? Oh fuck! Fuck you for showing me this. Okay, I gotta have to say one thing in BioWare's defense. I still think the Old Republic Online is pretty decent.
Yeah, but that's because EA just made it. Like, you know, they were like, no, an MMO has to be good.
It's like I was playing it. Like I actually played through a lot of it, and I actually really enjoyed it. It's like one of the first MMOs I've actually liked, compared to a lot of other stuff. So BioWare didn't even make that. They just.
I don't know. It was it wasn't one of their main priorities because like it doesn't crash every 15 seconds, and I'm not getting preached to for the entirety of it. So I'm 100% sure they didn't.
There's very little pause in the Old Republic. Like they just try to tell a story for most of it.
Yeah, there's no way it was their main development team then.
No, it does kind of remind me. I mean, it's an MMO, so it's a little watered down just by necessity, but it does remind me of classic BioWare a lot more than anything else they've done in a long time.
In that case, there's absolutely no way their main team worked on it.
Yeah, okay.
All right.
I'm looking forward to Dragon Age 4. I think it's going to be really good. You're gonna play as a.
That's funny.
You're gonna play as a Canary, and you're gonna kill like little red-headed children, and some like little blonde kids, and you're gonna, I don't know, maybe kill some Chantry people and lead the Canary. Like, okay, so no, I got it. The Canary are gonna be having a civil war. And a bunch of Canary refugees are going to come to Thades. The Chantry's trying to stop you. So you have to go and kill the Chantry and the various Templars so that the Canary can settle in Thades. That's what Dragon Age 4 is going to be.
Game of the year.
Game of the year.
Are Mass Effect characters always have big, wide, glassy eyes? I'm not familiar with the series.
No. Listen, Mass Effect 1 was good. Mass Effect 1 was really good. Like, I'm really mad still. Like, everyone says, oh, Mass Effect 2 was when it really got amazing. No, fuck you. Mass Effect 2 is when BioWare died.
I don't know. I like Mass Effect. Like, I admit that the plot of Mass Effect 2 wasn't great, but there is just so much good
It's not an RPG. Mass Effect 2 is just a Gears of War clone with some dialogue. You know, Mass Effect 1 was an actual RPG. Mass Effect 1 was just Knights of the Old Republic 3. That's what Mass Effect 1 was in a new universe. And I'm just oh god, I feel sick. I don't know if I'm just getting upset or if that's the Rum Runner from earlier.
Could you please take that off the screen? It's like staring into my soul. It's staring into my like soul in a cross-eyed way.
It's like those two aliens behind
it's
her.
Staring at the edges of your soul.
Those two aliens behind her are like, should we kill it?
I have to show this one shot. Her eyes see that white entire time.
Oh
They
my
stay open like that.
god, her pupils are different dilations.
Dude,
Look at
one
that.
eye is just
Look
a
at that.
fucking gaping abyss.
What the hell?
Oh, don't put it back on the screen.
Are you sure this isn't actually a horror game?
Why
How
is
about,
her,
like-
her face looks
Look
like
at
one
the way
side
they
of it is
move.
bigger than the other?
Look at the way they move. This is so wrong.
She does
Oh,
look
it's
really
all wrong.
autistic. She looks like Chris Chad.
Look, they're making basic animation mistakes. Like her eyes are moving around without her blinking. Okay, that's why it looks so wrong.
She actually looks like a fucking gorilla. I'm like
yeah.
Like I'm not joking.
Here's the thing. One of the easiest things to do is people do not move their eyes naturally without blinking. You might not realize this, but if you look around the room, you blink when you move your eyes so you don't get like disoriented and dizzy. These people don't. These people have no concept of the most basic principles of animation.
You don't understand the lore, Undertow. See, in the future, we've evolved beyond needing to blink.
She looks like a character from like Final Fantasy X.
Oh God!
Like Final Fantasy X, but with the worst lighting possible.
Oh Jesus!
And worse textures.
Oh, I feel sick.
What the fuck is that?
A gun went through her arm.
What is that?
She's holding onto the gun like Spider-Man. It's just like sticking to her hand.
What is? Pause. What the fuck is that armor?
Yeah, that armor is that's pretty pants. That's like Marty McFly's jacket.
I was going
from
to
Back
say,
to the Future too.
Isn't that just one of those puffy coats that rappers wear?
Is me or is this tearing? Like I know it's bad frame rate, but it looks like the graphics are like tearing as.
Yeah, it's all cancer all the way down.
Like these people look like they have Down syndrome or some kind of problem.
You know, you can't say that. That's ableist.
Yeah.
Look at this. Look at this. Oh, I love this.
What was that?
The tiptoes going way forward. And I love the zooming in on those lips. When her lips make a different shape, they didn't bother to check what the depth was, so they're actually coming in and out at random intervals.
You know what it's like? It's like that. Oh! It's like that cartoon penguin that goes.
Punching without making any contact. This isn't a film. The stuntmen did not perform this.
Okay, what is that,
dude?
What is
anything?
What is anything? What is anything in this? We can't even say what is that because look at that. That freeze frame right there. That just sums it all up, doesn't it?
That's like
the suffering, the absolute agony of this franchise. Just kill me. Just kill me.
Luke,
go yes.
Go back to the picture of the lips doing that thing.
Okay.
Look up the penguin that goes newt newt.
Oh God, Pingu. P-E-N-G-U. Pingu.
You need some newt sounds. Newt.
Like I know it looks like there's like some sort of thing that's like growing out of her face.
Like I said, this might be a horror game. Like this whole crew is possessed by demons.
No, like this looks worse than like PS. That looks like
no, John. You are the demons.
Okay, like, and this was the trailer.
No, this is just somebody putting together a bunch of things from different trailers.
Oh, this is from a trailer though, right?
These are all from trailers, yes.
So this is like because normally trailers are like pre-rendered bullshit that doesn't look like the game.
Yeah, that guy just disappears. He just disappears.
So this is the best.
It just breaks out of existence. Dude, you know what? No, again, you don't understand the lore. It's like that Star Trek episode where everyone. It's like that Star Trek episode where everyone disappeared on Beverly Crusher.
This isn't hard to catch. This is like 2 minutes of double checking before you release the trailer.
No. The reality is shifting on them, and people are being erased from the timeline.
So this was the stuff they could find. This is the best gameplay footage they could find to put into the trailer.
These are highlights.
You know what the rest of this looks like.
What's too much to dissect?
It looks cell shaded now. It looks like it's fucking Wind Waker. Oh, okay.
I don't ever want you to insult my favorite Zelda game ever again.
She looked like she was drunk for a second there.
Something's wrong here.
The most unappealing face I have ever seen on anything.
how do you make her eyes less relatable than the alien who just has black
I
eyes?
still think she
I
looks
know.
autistic.
Yeah, the Solarians are more readable and friendly looking than her.
Her eyebrows have no. Did you see that? That was the extent
Yes,
of her
your
eyebrow
eyebrows don't seem to
movements.
be moving at all when you speak. But you could try moving
Let
your
me
face a
see how
little bit
much
more.
they're selling this bullshit for.
Oh, probably
Sure,
80 freaking
I'm sure
dollars.
It's at least $60.
It's $60 with a $30 season pass and $20 extra collector's edition, and it's just
Well, but if you buy the
screw
collector's edition,
Oh.
you can trade it in and then give the game box away to your fans.
Oh yeah, no, let's just stand on this shelf over here.
Okay, it's $80 Canadian. I'm gonna buy the deluxe edition. I'm gonna trade the game in. And I'm gonna do a giveaway where I give the collector's edition content out on a stream.
I don't know. This game's so bad. In like 30 years, it might be a collector's item, like a fucking Action 52 type thing.
Sorry, to be autistic, they would know what I was referring to.
What?
No.
Oh,
okay.
the game box thing that was DSP did that.
Yeah, DSP gave away like 5 or 6 empty game boxes from collectors.
First of all, I didn't even know you could trade in a game disc without a fucking box. I didn't even know that was a thing. I thought most GameStops would tell you to pound sand on that.
Second of all,
Stop that!
No, it's telling that. Look, that's it. That's there. The backwards gun. That's what I'm talking about.
Where's the backwards gun?
It's look at it. It's on the screen right now. Look, that's the back of the gun.
Here comes. Here comes.
The face. Look.
That's
No.
That's all, folks.
The faces of the characters are scarier than the creepy alien thing sneaking up on her. God.
Okay, I have a question. Would you rather do Sovereign or this girl? Who would you rather have sex with?
Sovereign.
Sovereign? Okay.
8 ways till Sunday. Would he assume direct control? Okay, never mind.
all right. Let's move on because like my sides are in fucking orbit over here.
Yeah, which is funny because Mass Effect just left orbit and is crashing down.
All right, let's
Hey, at least it's got its freaking dune buggy back. Am I right, guys?
Davis just made an important observation about the material. These characters seem to be unattractive in the same way that one's own relatives are unattractive.
That is weirdly accurate.
Yeah. Autism.
only. All right. Let's do
This okay. This face right here is all I can hear is Steve Urkel. Just that's what I see here.
All right.
God help me.
Let's go ahead and do sponsors while I still remember to do that. All right. So sponsor this week is Race by Apparel, where you can get you some awesome shitlord shirts. That's race is in the name, RAYCE. So do check out that sponsor. He has been drastically improving his store over the last few months. A lot more stuff there than there used to be. So do check it out. Really good stuff there. Get you some excellent shitlord shirts. Trigger your leftist friends and family. Although why you have leftist friends, I wouldn't know. Also, down below, you'll see the tip jar there where if you appreciate this show, you appreciate what I do, any donations are greatly appreciated, because, I'm like DSP. I got like 5 mortgages I got to pay, I
got a boat.
Yeah, I just bought a boat. No, seriously though, any donations are greatly appreciated. That helps me keep doing what I'm doing. That helps me make this channel better. And that just, is it's honoring even when I get donations. I do greatly appreciate it. So send me some motherfucking shekels. And again, not just me, as I said numerous times on here. It behooves you to support the alternative medias that you benefit from. If you like Alex Jones, buy some of that Buy some of them awesome water filters, you know, if you
Beyond tangy tangerine.
Was that a DSP moment? You just told our audience that it behooves them to pay us.
well, but not just me. No, any supporting the stuff you like. Yeah, it's good. Do that. You know, not just me. Anybody out there that you get a lot out of their content, you know, support them. Check out the sponsors. You know, send them donations if you can, and you know, always hit them like, comment, and subscribe buttons, because that also helps the channels grow. That helps this channel grow. So I greatly appreciate it if you would check out the tip jar and send me some motherfucking shekels. You know, because I need some motherfucking shekels. You know, I only have $7.
Because you take all this money.
Yeah. Yeah, you see, I need more bits in that thing, you know.
So you want to be the next $7 Sanchez?
Only have $7. 7 shekels Sanchez there.
The $7 Joe Show.
Oh Lord. But no, the tips are greatly appreciated. All right, so moving on from the old e-begging there. Let's see what I want to talk about next. Let's talk about JonTron. Now, I've been a fan of JonTron's for a while now, even before Gamergate.
Long ago, I started watching him.
Well, I wouldn't say that long. I want to say like maybe 2013, maybe early.
I started watching him. When was it? Like he was only like 4 or 5 videos in when I started watching him.
Oh shit!
It was a long time ago for me.
That's back when he was on ham radio, right?
yeah. Sure.
I really like JonTron's stuff. He makes me laugh a great deal. I've enjoyed his videos for a while, and I've long gotten the impression that his power level is far greater than he wants anybody to believe. And he's recently just come out, and you know he's hardly the most right-wing guy in the world, but he's hardly all that PC either. And now,
what did he say, just for those of us who hadn't been following this too closely?
Basically, he takes this radical position that nations are allowed to have borders. I know it's funny, actually. Gizmodo, which I would like to add, is owned by Telemundo. But Gizmodo had this article about how YouTuber JonTron has batshit crazy views about immigrations. You know, where he believes that, you know, nations have the right to determine who can enter them. I know it's crazy. It's out there that, you know, nations have the right to have borders. I know that's just batshit crazy, but maybe we'll just give that a shot. You know, that thing that's been true for most of human history. Maybe we'll just give it a shot. Give it the old college try there. But no, JonTron's a funny dude. I love his videos. I really do. Man, his one video on like the anti-drug video games, that was fucking great. I love that video. Where he plays like Wally Bear in the No Gang. That's good stuff. But yeah, the big thing liberals are pushing right now, they're like, haha, his views are plummeting. His subscription rate is plummeting. JonTron has over 3 million subscribers. All right. Well over 3 million subscribers. Now, yeah, he took some political positions and he took a bit of a hurting over it. He lost, I think it was a few 100,000 when I saw. It was not a great deal.
Good.
It went down a touch, but
those people's lives will now be lacking the laughter from his future videos, and they will be all the more miserable for it. And I am glad for that.
But you know what? I can't help but wonder. I bet you if he'd have come out all anti-Trump and shit like that, all hardcore leftist, I bet you he'd have lost a lot more. The way things are shifting rightward here recently. But yeah, I mean, he's one of the, I mean, PewDiePie is obviously the biggest YouTuber, and he came out very right-wing recently. JonTron's a pretty big fucking guy. I mean, I think basically like Angry Video Game.
For you.
I think basically Angry Video Game Nerd's the only name that's bigger out there. Who, to his credit, has remained extremely apolitical throughout the entirety of his stuff. He's never shoved his views down anyone's throat one way or another. Which I think is probably for the best. And you also notice that JonTron doesn't put his politics in his JonTron videos. He was on a stream with Sargon talking politics. You know, he wasn't out there in a JonTron video. It's not like he was fucking reviewing Knuckles Chaotix and then he was like, now let's talk about, you know, immigration policy in the middle of this. Like how the leftists always got to put their...
which movie Bob would have done.
Exactly. The leftists always got to put their politics, shove it in the middle of anything. No, he was on a stream with Sargon talking about the stuff. He's had some tweets on Twitter. He's always been really based, though. Like, a few years ago, one of the earliest controversies where the left tried to attack him was he was on Twitter. He called something retarded. And this one faggot, who I actually would get to meet a year later, what the hell, Ben Hoover was his name. He all tweeted at him like, you shouldn't say that, it's mean. And JonTron just tweets back like, I'm sorry, I didn't know you were retarded.
Yeah, that was
funny.
great.
I actually met that Ben Hoover guy at a Christmas party while I worked at Reaction.
That was him?
Yes. If you've ever seen the video I did, How I Ruined an SJW Christmas, or the Reaction article by the same name, basically, like, I'll give a brief synopsis for those of you that didn't know. Basically, I go to the an elderly couple. I go to their house for Christmas dinner. My dad and I were invited, so you know we stopped by. There was someone we knew from a former church, and I sort of got shunted to the kids' table. I don't know how else to put it. Basically, the wife of this couple was like, I want you to meet my grandson. He writes stuff on the internet too. And he's sitting here at this table all alone with his fat hog of a girlfriend. Like, he's clearly the black sheep in his family. And I didn't want to sit with him because, like, there were people there I hadn't seen in a while. I wanted to talk to him, but I kind of felt like it was the charitable thing to do, to talk to this kid. It was, and he wouldn't, like, he mentioned he wrote for some site, I think it was called like fanboy.com or something like that. And I'm like, oh, I write for a news site, Reaction. Yeah. And, you know, and he won't make eye contact with me or anything, but he's just a shy nerd, whatever. Well, the next day he's blowing up on Twitter. I had my Christmas party ruined by some evil right-winger showed up that works for this site run by a rapist. It's funny too, because like, I bet you he bitched at his grandma about it. And like, I never heard a peep from her. She's still like, you know, has me over for dinner once in a while and stuff like that. I'm sure that kid's the black sheep of the family, because that family's nothing but like everybody else in that house was, you know, just salt of the earth, God-fearing K-types. And here's this just fucking loser. And I'm trying to be nice to him the whole time. I'm trying to like, you know, like, oh, did you play the new Smash Brothers? I think the amiibos are kind of cool. I'm trying desperately to make nice with this kid. You know, I ruined his Christmas by existing.
That happens
nice.
like at all the Christmases I go to. Like, no, for me, it's like, oh, what did you do today? I'm like, oh, I went to church. And they're like, oh. Oh, you went to church on Christmas. Okay.
It's been very different on my side ever since Trump won the election. I remember the great contrast when Obama won the election. My liberal relatives couldn't shut up about it, but now that Trump won the election, everyone's like, "We're good."
I always like whenever this topic comes up to give the AVGN a bit of credit. Something I always love about him is he never really brings like politics or anything controversial.
Oh, yeah, he's always been apolitical.
Yeah, which I appreciate, because like I do find Two Best Friends funny, but whenever I try to watch like their Let's Plays or something, they always bring like a bunch of like liberal stuff into it, and it's just a lot of like YouTube people who do videos on video games just bring all their like SJW stuff into it. So I just always give him a lot of credit.
Well, because games are the new medium, so we can make sure they never have racism problems.
Back in the beginning of November, literally the weekend before the election, I went to a video game con up in Syracuse, and Pat the NES Punk was up there, and the gaming historian, another one whose channel I really enjoy, and I had just gotten the big NES library guide that Pat had put out. So I brought it up because I wanted him to sign it. And I'm walking around this convention in my Trump hat all fucking weekend. And, you know, there's a lot of YouTube. I don't know what Pat's politics are. But if they are liberal, he didn't give me any shit about it. He just was like, he's very friendly, chatty, like, yeah, the election's coming up. You excited? It's going to be a big night and all that stuff. But he did it. He was saying things in a very neutral way. You know what I mean?
Very nonpartisan. Yeah,
exactly. In other words, basically, he was acting like a professional entertainer should.
Say it ain't so.
I know. Shocking. I don't know what Pat the NES Punk's politics are. I don't need to know. I tune into his channel to hear him talk about retro games and stuff.
The thing is, JonTron's parents are immigrants. He understands this concept.
Well, you know that meme,
or at least his dad. I know.
You know that meme of the black guy like putting his finger up to his head, like the quoting the obvious or something. The life hack kind of thing. Where I saw one where it was like, you can't get deported if you came here legally.
Exactly. Like, so little story time here. I just started substitute teaching recently. Another reason why I don't use my real name is so I could have the opportunities to work jobs like that. But at lunch, one of the teachers was there talking to me, and teachers is pause land and everything, and I just keep my mouth shut. Although I did make a joke. Substitute teachers, obviously, you're usually just playing a movie or something that's documentary related to what they're talking about. And I'm scrolling through the Roku that the teacher has set up to get to the thing that we're talking about. And we go past documentary, concentration camps of the Holocaust. I said, "Oh, I've seen this. It's one of my favorite comedies." And I just kept scrolling. And the entire class, these were AP students, so they got the joke pretty quickly, and they thought I was officially the funniest substitute teacher they'd ever had. But anyway, at lunch, one of the teachers I was having lunch with was talking to me and said, she was talking to one of the other teachers there and said, "Oh, by the way, Pablo's mom is getting deported in May. She got the paperwork from them." Like, "Oh yeah, why does she have a son here that's already in high school if she's still not a legal citizen?" Like, if you've had enough time to have a son who is grown up and has gone to high school, you really should have legal citizenship status by now. I mean, really,
Oh, that takes time.
Up until now,
she put in the paperwork for it a few months ago.
Oh, a few months ago? She didn't feel like she needed it.
Yeah, up till now, she didn't feel like she needed it. Oh, yeah, it's just whatever. I mean, and it's so hard to just sit there and not say anything, because I would lose the job. And this was day 2, and I was like, well, nope, not doing that. Anyway.
Well, like I said, I really like JonTron's videos. If you haven't checked his stuff out, you should. He's
one of the best. He doesn't upload very often because he treats his channel like a television show, and
he puts tremendous amount.
He puts huge amounts of effort and nowadays huge amounts of money into it. He actually lives in New York City and works a lot with Broadway people and actors and stuff who are trying to get foots in the door and that sort of thing. And he gets a lot of great work from that. My younger sister is in town this weekend, actually. She also lives in New York now and works in the Broadway sphere. So I kind of know these kind of people are everywhere because there's only so many theaters in New York, right? And lots and lots and lots of people want to make it on Broadway. Probably only marginally less than would love to be a movie star. But unlike movies, there are a limited number of slots that you can get into. Anyway, but what I'm getting at is it's really cool to see somebody treat a YouTube channel like a television production and to actually have really high standards for himself. He doesn't just throw up a face cam vlog or whatever.
Oh, speaking of YouTube, have you heard about the advertising splurge that's happened because of quote unquote anti-Semitic videos?
No.
Apparently, because YouTube can't get all the quote unquote anti-Semitic videos off, a lot of advertisers are leaving YouTube.
Yeah, they're going to leave the biggest advertisement platform on the internet.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I'm sure a lot of companies will virtue signal and leave YouTube, and a lot of other companies will pop right back in there.
I mean, between like Google, Facebook, and YouTube, those are like the 3 biggest advertising platforms on the internet.
Yeah, oddly enough, this article always references David Duke for some reason.
Yeah, because he just has such a
I don't know anything
presence.
about David Duke.
Yeah, how retro. David Duke.
Oh yeah, there's a spokesman quote that says, Google believes in the right for people to express their views, and and many others find it abhorrent, but we do not tolerate hate speech.
Whatever that means.
All right, shifting gears. We were talking about this a lot before we went live, but Amy Schumer had a stand-up special on Netflix.
Oh yes, she did.
And it is insanely low rated. I mean, she's got like a 1.2 star rating right now, and it's, you know, the written reviews on it are just eviscerating her. Often from people that said, like, I used to really enjoy Amy Schumer, but I don't know what's happened to her. This was just horrendous. You know, her own fan base is turning on her. And the thing of the matter is, I found Amy Schumer mildly amusing, I want to say close to 10 years ago, when I first saw her popping up on Comedy Central, back when Comedy Central was remotely worth watching. You know, I'd see stand-up specials, and here comes this little blonde who wasn't nearly as fat back then, you know, talking about just whoring it up. And I like that kind of edgy comedy, especially back then when it still was somewhat edgy. You know, comedy should be a little uncomfortable. You know, if at least one joke doesn't make people, you know, reluctantly laugh at something, I don't think it's worth my time. That's why I used to love the Comedy Central roast back in the day. Those were brutal, man. Comedians would bring their A game to it, no punches pulled. I love that kind of comedy. Like, I used to love Lisa Lampanelli, getting all classic. There's basically not a single Don Rickles bit I can't sit down and watch. I love that shit. But when I first started to realize Amy Schumer was a piece of shit, the first thing that clued me in on it was, I want to say like 2012, 2013, there was a Twitter account following her that went by the name of Amy Schumer's Vagina, that would tweet things at her like, you know, you need to wash me. I'm starting to smell like the dumpster behind Red Lobster. Or like the bio said that its hobbies were HPV and penises. Like, somebody who makes the kind of comedy Amy Schumer does, who has made a name for herself doing the kind of shit she does, should find that funny as hell. If anything, she should have been retweeting it and following it back. But instead, she ran to the Twitter mods and demanded this harassment be taken down. I'm sorry, but if you can't take a joke, you got no business telling them. You know, and then recently, hang on one second. I think it was like recently, like maybe a year ago, some little teenage kid, like 18, he met Amy. He's like a producer's son or something. He met Amy Schumer at some Hollywood party. He took a picture with her, put it on Twitter, and said, "I guess I'm not the first guy that spent the night with Amy Schumer, LOL." And then she fucking starts giving him this feminist lecture about respecting women. I'm sorry, sweetie. You don't get to joke. You don't get to make your career, make your name joking about abortion and HPV and then demand to be treated like a lady. It doesn't fucking work that way, all right? You want to be Little Miss Edgelord, you be Little Miss Edgelord. Go right ahead. But there's a certain price to be paid for that.
And that was so weird about the whole skit, though. The whole first half of it is just her talking about her sexual peccadillos and bizarre sexual things, and then she spends most of the time talking about responsible gun control.
No, you
yeah, because nothing's funnier than safety.
Yeah, you don't get to fucking look. You don't get to do that kind of comedy and then get on a soapbox. You just don't get to. Okay. That's what drives me nuts about Amy Schumer is the hypocrisy of it. Nothing drives me nuts.
Listen,
a comedian. What used to drive me nuts about the Channel Awesome crowd again was how thin-skinned they were. I'm sorry, but you make your living criticizing things and you can't take criticism. That fucking bothers me. And this bullshit was like supposedly there was going to be a Comedy Central roast of Amy Schumer. I don't know if that ever happened. I kept hearing it was going to happen, and I don't watch Comedy Central anymore, so I don't know. But I can't imagine that wouldn't be a train wreck, because that woman can't take a fucking joke. And those roasts, at least they used to be, holding no holes barred, right? They used to be fucking, no one was pulling their punches. I have to imagine she would have walked off stage in like 10 minutes at one of those things.
What really bothers me about her is yes, what everything you've said, but there are thousands of Amy Schumers out there. You know, there are thousands and hundreds of thousands of people that act this way. Why does she get to be put on this pedestal and say she's a comedian and we're gonna change our entire rating system on Netflix just so she doesn't have her fees hurt? What is so special about her?
Sorry, what are they changing the rating system to?
They're changing it to a straight thumbs up, thumbs down instead of a star rating from 1 to 5.
I missed that from YouTube.
Well, they tried that, and that's what happened with the Ghostbusters trailer.
Yeah, maybe just stop. That's. I don't know if it's because. I mean, not to sound all Alex Jones, we're breaking the conditioning here, but the fact of the matter is, the elites are these are some evil motherfuckers, and they constantly want to push ugliness. And I don't know if maybe that's what it is with Amy Schumer, that she's just so fucking repulsive that the elites get off on the idea of making everybody like her. Because they are pushing her to insane amounts. I mean, we're basically, you will like Amy Schumer, damn it. I mean, I guess I should be thankful my Netflix subscription isn't making me watch the fucking special before it'll let me watch something else. I'm sorry, we can't let you watch we can't let you watch Iron Fist. You haven't watched Amy Schumer yet. It is unreal. Like Undertow said, it is unreal just how much they are pushing.
I just want to know why. Why?
And like I said, I'm not somebody who hated her right out of the get-go. I think close to a decade ago, she had 1 or 2 good little specials. Nothing great, but okay. But like I said, that was what? That was what basically that's when fucking Bush was in office, all right? And yeah, I've seen comedians with similar bits. That Lisa Lampanelli is way funnier than Amy Schumer's ever been. Although I think she actually, oddly enough, got married and took her money and fucked off and went home. Oh, and also, there's all manner. You can look this up online. There's all manner of Amy Schumer stealing jokes. Now, some of it's a gray area because the simple fact of the matter is comedians are going to have similar jokes. That's just going to happen. It just is. But some of it's like, yeah, especially the stuff that was on her fucking, she had like a variety, a sketch show on fucking Comedy Central for a while there, which got like no fucking ratings. But yeah, some of it's questionable. And again, they destroyed Carlos Mencia for less. Let me put it that way. Remember when Carlos Mencia was fucking everywhere back in like 05, 06? Yeah. He had his own sketch show. They were calling him the next Dave fucking Chappelle. And then all of a sudden you never heard a peep from him anymore. He was gone. Because yes, he got caught with a few too many similar jokes and he decided he was gone. All right, they destroyed Carlo Mencia's career for way less than Amy Schumer's done. And I mean that. They destroyed him. That guy can't get booked at a children's party anymore. Now, I mean, the only other one I've seen them destroy recently was the guy with the puppets, Jeff Dunham, but that was just because he was on PC. And the interesting thing about Jeff Dunham is he still routinely sells out every fucking performance he does. They just refuse to put him on television anymore.
I wasn't aware of that.
Every time he sells out every fucking performance, like instantly. He's still making buttloads of money. They just basically never. I mean, they'll still show like his old specials and all, but he had a show on Comedy Central that had decent ratings, and they yanked it off the air. you know, he never finds his way on TV on new specials anymore, it seems.
You mean like what they did to Sam Hyde?
Yeah, that's another good example. Sam Hyde had one of the highest rated.
Except Sam Hyde was already popular before television. That's the thing.
Sure.
He got his television show because he was already. He doesn't need them.
No,
I mean, sure, it helped him out monetarily, but
at this point, like I said, Jeff Dunham doesn't need him. I mean, he'll just travel the country doing his puppet shows everywhere he goes, and people are going to fucking love it, and he's going to be sleeping on piles of money. Meanwhile, Comedy Central's got 9 people watching it. You know? I mean, hell, South Park's the only thing on Comedy Central that has, you know, any decent ratings. And I think South Park is burnt out a couple years ago. I don't know if Daniel Tosh is still on there, but that's the closest thing to, you know, somebody with balls on there I can think of.
It's sad for me to see a lot of these channels I used to enjoy as a kid. Like the History Channel just went to such depths of shit with just the alien thing.
I know. It makes me so sad. History Channel used to be genuinely entertaining.
Like I have a lot of fond memories watching it with my dad, watching like World War II stuff and like just any kind of like the old stuff they used to have with my father and grandfather. And that was
I have a friend who's very into like ancient alien theories, and I admit there's some interesting stuff to some of it. But when I tried to watch that show, it was a show it was a show they did on fucking Hercules, right? I think it was. And yeah, it was Hercules. And basically, here's the show summed up. Hey, you know all those myths about like that guy in Greek mythology called Hercules? What if he was an alien? The end. Like, that's it. That's all they had. Like, I'm like, okay, I guess. What if he was? You know, I mean, you can get into some interesting things when you're talking about the pyramids, but this was basically like, I don't know, maybe Hercules was an alien.
No, and that's like all it is. It's just shit like that. Like I kind of miss.
I feel like that show probably
on Hitler.
Like I feel like that show probably had like 2 good episodes that were remotely interesting, and then like that guy's probably like hates doing it at this point. He's like, that's all I had. Don't make me do a whole season. So now he's like, maybe Hercules was an alien.
Because it was so lame. But no, it's like, I don't know, they just don't produce anything. All these channels are just, oh, it's so sad. It and Discovery used to be good, and now they're just awful. Oh no, the History Channel just runs Pawn Stars. That's what I was thinking of.
Yeah,
literally. What, sorry?
The Pawn Shop Show.
Yeah, the Pawn Shop Show is literally.
Hi, I'm Rick Harrison, and this is my pawn shop.
That was the old joke where it's like, hey, History Channel, you know the word history means the past, not lies about aliens and rednecks doing shit.
I love the Harambe pawn shop. Like, this is my zookeeper big shot. You never know what kid is gonna fall through it. Fall into
Oh my god.
I tell you, you know, that really was sad. I mean, for once, somebody tried to take a fatherly role with a black child, and Whitey shot him dead. That was on Empty Heroes channel. I was talking about 2016 review. I can see why people were mad. All right.
Is there any decent TV network left, or are they all bad now?
Define decent.
Like that you can watch without wanting to kill yourself?
No, there's none.
The only shows I still watch are Flash and Arrow. That's it. That's the only things that are actually on television that I watch.
Well, I mean, there's stuff I watch online. Like I like, well, it's over now, but I was a huge fan of Kitchen Nightmares.
Oh, you donkey!
I watched every episode of Kitchen Nightmares. Yeah. Now it's over.
All right, so I'm gonna do a little bit of comic stuff, and then I guess Undertow will do a little bit of Warhammer shit, and then we'll take some callers.
Oh crap! I forgot what I talked about last time. I briefly touched on the Chaos guys, right?
I remember.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Okay. Let me think what I need to do next.
Okay, so a couple of things I want to talk about. First of all, last time I spotlighted Empowered as a comic book that's worth checking out. That's good superhero shit. That's not Marvel and DC. And this time I want to talk about a comic book called Invincible. This is actually, it's by Robert Kirkman, who created Walking Dead, but I think Invincible is better than Walking Dead in every fucking way. Basically, Invincible starts out with a teenager who is he's basically the son of this world's Superman, for lack of a better term. Omni-Man is his name. And as a teenager, his powers develop, so he becomes, his own superhero named Invincible. And this series just follows his adventures. And I don't even want to spoil a great deal of it. Things really get interesting with his father and the nature of the alien race that he's a part of. But it's Robert Kirkman creates a really interesting superhero world in this book. And it's just good old-fashioned superhero storytelling. I've fallen considerably behind on it. If you look at trade paperbacks, it's well up there, and I think I'm only at like volume 9 or 10 or something like that. But it's really, really good stuff. I cannot recommend it enough. Again, I don't want to even like throw out a lot of plot points there, because I would just highly suggest just going into it raw. Just go on Amazon and check out volume 1 of Invincible. Again, trade paperbacks on Amazon tend to be extremely cheap. So I would highly, highly recommend Invincible. For a while, it was probably one of my favorite comic books. Which, again, I just sort of fell behind on it. And because at the time, I was just reading so much shit. It just got to be a lot. But I do want to get myself caught up on it. It's an absolutely fantastic read. It's almost a shame Robert Kirkman is more known for what is basically a mediocre zombie story than this. Some of the best superhero stuff the last 10 years. I actually became aware of it because Robert Kirkman was writing Marvel Team Up over at Marvel, and he did an issue where Spider-Man met Invincible, basically, because Invincible was fighting some villain whose power was able to cross between different dimensions, and he got pushed. The story was he got pushed into the Marvel universe via that. So that's where I first became aware of the character, was that issue of Marvel Team Up. But then I went ahead and picked up the trade of volume 1. I was really enjoying Kirkman's writings at Marvel at the time, and I was not disappointed. I highly recommend checking this out. Some of the best superhero stuff you can read. The other thing I want to talk about real quick, because Marvel's Netflix stuff is launching up to a Defenders series here soon with all their street level guys. So I thought it might be worth talking a little bit about the Defenders in the Marvel comics, which are a completely different team. The Defenders in the actual comics are a team comprised of the core members of Doctor Strange, Silver Surfer, Hulk, and Namor. I think originally, like for the first few issues of the book back in the 70s, Silver Surfer wasn't part of it, but he became a core member of the four of them. And there's been all manner of rotating membership in it, as any team in the Marvel Universe is likely to have. So there's probably like 40 motherfuckers, 50 motherfuckers probably that have been members of this team at one point or another. But what's very interesting about this superhero team, when you look at it, the four main ones, that is an extremely overpowered team. Like that's an ass-wompingly powerful team for a superhero team. Now, there are certain like B-list superheroes who are frequent members in it, like Hellcat and Valkyrie and Nighthawk are the other three. But the four core ones are really interesting. And again, if you're interested in Defenders, if you want to read the old Bronze Age 70s stuff, there are probably all manner of trade paperbacks, but the best bet, if you don't mind reading it in black and white, are what's called Marvel Essentials. Marvel Essentials are reprints of Silver Age and up to now Bronze Age stuff, where it's like 30 issues at least in one of these trades, and it's like a $13, $14 price tag on it. But again, it's black and white. It's not colorized. It's basically just the line art. But they're very cheap ways to read some of the old classics. The stuff that I think is really worth checking out for Defenders. There was a series, I think it was 99 or 2000 they started it, and it went on for 12 issues. Eric Larson was the artist and Kurt Busiek the writer, and actually Eric Larson helped come up with the plot. The Defenders come together and basically like one of the goddesses in the Marvel Universe, I think it was actually Gaia, but basically puts a spell on them where anytime the Earth needed defending, these four people would just be teleported to that area, right? Like against their will. They didn't want to be a team. They would just all get forced to do it, right? Well, this ended up even kind of corrupting them a little bit mentally, the effects of the spell. But basically, by the end of this, the four of them decide, well, if we are forced to protect the world in this way, we're going to rule the world, and that's where this series order comes in. And by the end of it, Luke, throw up this one picture. There's like this big battle towards the end of it, where basically the rest of the main superheroes in the Marvel Universe show up to fight them. I mean, like the Avengers, the Fantastic Four, Spider-Man, Daredevil, the X-Men, they basically all show up like, no, we're going to take you down. And the Defenders proceed to just whomp their ass. Like good. just curb stomps the rest of them. It's a pretty good read, and they end up, I don't want to spoil it too much, but they end up actually taken down by the B-list Defenders. Like Valkyrie and Nighthawk and Hellcat were all sort of conspiring against them the whole time. They're the ones that end up fixing the problem. Meanwhile, all the rest of the A-list superheroes in the Marvel Universe just get their asses handed to them.
Nice.
But yeah, it's a solid read. The Defenders as a team is a very interesting concept. It's had its ups and downs. It's one of those series that, is around for a little while and then it gets canceled and then comes around for a little while. So it is one of those where you're going to be dealing with all manner of volume problems. Which number one do I need to get?
What do you mean volume problems?
Yeah. But if you want to check out the Defenders I mentioned, look for Defenders with Kurt Busiek and Eric Larson as the creators. It's actually funny. This was Eric Larson's idea. One of the it was one of the comic news sites or something described that series as the worst comic they ever read. So they put it as a blurb on like issue 7 or 8.
That's actually great. That's a really funny and entertaining way to do this.
I can't remember
Take notes, Amy Schumer. This is how you handle criticism.
I can't remember which issue number it is, but it was the one, like on the cover, it just shows the Silver Surfer flying around in space. Because this is another funny plot point. The Silver Surfer just fucked off to space at one point, right? And he got far enough away to where Gaia's magic didn't affect him anymore. And the other Defenders were having none of it and basically got him dragged back. They went out and got him and be like, no, you're stuck with this too. And the other funny thing was, now when the spell was cast on him, there are many different personalities of the Hulk. At that point, it was well established Bruce Banner had many different personalities, and at this particular point, he would kind of randomly pop into one or another, right? Depending on when he transformed into Hulk. Well, he was just the straight up dumb Hulk when this spell was cast on him. So whenever the Hulk would get called to this place, it would revert to that version of the Hulk. So at one point, like Doc Samson, who is another Hulk-related character, he's trying to figure out where the Hulk keeps disappearing to. So he's trying to interview the Hulk about where he's been, and the Hulk is like, "I go to a place with Fishman and Shiny Man," and he's just like, "Who's Fishman? I don't know." And he's like, "Fishman, I don't like Fishman." And at the end, they actually turn him into the Gray Hulk. Is kind of the most shitbag of all the Hulks. Doctor Strange manages to alter the spell just enough so that he can get the Gray Hulk, because the childlike retard Hulk actually wants no part of their world domination plan. But it's a good read. It's a very interesting team. There's a lot of good Defenders stuff out there you can check out. Like I said, though, the Kurt Busiek and Eric Larson runs are just really good stuff. And then the Order miniseries afterwards is solid stuff as well. All right. So Undertow, I think it's time for some 40K stuff.
Oh shit, yeah, I forgot already.
I can help you along. I remember.
You can. Let's talk about the Eldar, because I know almost nothing about the Eldar, and that'll be quick. Let me go put this pile of 40K parts over here. All right. Oh, I got some on my desk too. Hang on. Okay.
We're professionals, ladies and gentlemen. Professionals.
Very professional here.
So here's the thing: the Eldar are space elves, and they're a bunch of dicks.
Are they biologically immortal? Like they don't age?
Yeah, well, more or less.
Well, it's like elves. They just age really slowly.
Very, very much like elves. It's not really clear whether they are completely immortal or have a huge time lifespan. For all intents and purposes, they are immortal, because I don't think any of them has ever been documented as dying of old age. But they are actually an engineered race. They were created to be servants for a race called the Old Ones. Now, many people say that the Old Ones are something like the Slann from Warhammer Fantasy, but the Slann and Warhammer Fantasy are just these giant frog people. So meme magic once again at work. However, no one has ever... There's never been an official description of what the Old Ones look like. So they may actually look like the Old Ones from the Lovecraft universe, and they might just be giant starfish vase fruit-looking guacamole beings.
So are the Old Ones different than the pre-retcon people who made the Necrons?
Very. And I was I'll come into that now. See, the Eldar were created to be servants for the Old Ones. Now, the Old Ones respected all forms of life, and they believed in creating new ones and all this sort of thing. And they were some 10 million years ago, they were the dominant species in the galaxy, and they were masters of biotechnology and that sort of stuff. So they would go from planet to planet, and they were the first to discover the warp. Now, the warp at this time hadn't been influenced by that many psychic, emanations from sentient creatures, because there weren't that many back then. So it was a relatively tranquil place. So it was much safer to use like hyperspace drives and stuff. And the Eldar were created to be servants, like I said, and they were all gifted with psychic powers. So every single Eldar has a psychic connection to the warp directly, not just tangentially like echoes like normal sentient races do, but they directly are connected to the warp and can all manifest magical powers and that sort of thing with enough training. Now, unlike a lot of the races of 40K, since they have so many lives, or excuse me, such long lives, they have lots and lots of careers, because they can devote an entire lifetime to being a good soldier and then just get bored and go off and be an artist for another entire lifetime, and so on and so on and so forth for millennia. And naturally, this leads to them getting pretty bored, which led to the aforementioned murder fucking a god into existence. Yeah, that whole decadence thing did not work out very well for them. So this decline of their civilization into pure hedonism happened fairly slowly. in human terms, but pretty quickly in galactic terms. Now, the Eldar do not travel via the warp. Well, that's a kind of a misnomer. They do travel in the warp, but they were gifted something from the old ones called the Webway. Now, the Webway is basically a series of safe tunnels through the warp. They're made of some kind of psychic energy or something that cannot be punctured by the demons that live in the warp, or any creatures that live in the warp, because there weren't any demons at the warp when it was first created. But basically, it's a tunnel network through hyperspace. They don't have huge ships. They just walk through a gate and they appear somewhere else, like Stargate. They just, take the supplies with them to build a new gate, and they can pop out at certain places. Now, the Webway has never been fully explored and documented, and it's always sort of growing and changing because it's partially like a living thing. Again, the old ones were very much based all of their ideas and technology on biology and that sort of thing. So yeah, the Eldar, however, did still need to take massive ships worth of colony supplies to set up new colonies and to make big things. So they created these continent-sized battleships, or not battleships, but spaceships that they called craft worlds, because they were basically like planets. Just a little bit smaller. But since they couldn't fit those through the Webway, they had to travel in normal space at just a fraction below the speed of light, which means that they were, susceptible to relative time dilation and all that sort of thing. Because of this, the Eldar who were living on the craft world were able to watch the decline into hedonism of their society much, much more clearly than everyone who was just living from day to day. Basically, they jumped from the 1950s to now in one trip. And they were like, well, wait a minute. Why is everybody talking about how great it is to cut off your genitals? This does not seem like a good idea. And basically, they very hastily began creating a plan to just evacuate their empire before something really, really bad happened, because they all, being partially psychic, they all were getting a really bad feeling about this, to quote Star Wars. And they took what few people were still sane and started making for the edge of the galaxy, or not the edge of the galaxy, but the edge of their empire. And only a few of them made it out when Slaanesh was created. And that is actually what created the Eye of Terror, that section of the galaxy where the warp spills over. And a lot of the craft worlds were actually lost in that expansion of immaterial hyperspace into everything. But that was only one type of Eldar. See, the craft world Eldar are the quote-unquote normal Eldar. They're the ones who are the most like the original Eldar Empire. There are also Corsairs, who are basically space pirates, and they'll work for whoever. The Imperium of Man may have all these rules about not consorting with aliens and all that sort of stuff, but there's actually a lot of planets on the fringes that don't actually belong to the Imperium of Man. And even though everyone there sort of pays lip service to the Imperial faith, they don't actually care that much about killing every alien they see and that sort of thing, because oftentimes aliens can be quite helpful if they're more familiar with the area of space you're working in. So the Corsairs get a lot of work as mercenaries and pirates and that sort of thing. There's also the Harlequins, who are a very secretive group who have basically taken it upon themselves to sort of act as the wild card in the history of the galaxy. They are a little fraternity that has more knowledge of the Webway than anybody else. So they're able to dance sort of in and out of reality, teleporting around the battlefield with completely throwing their enemies off.
Sorry, just on this topic.
Yeah.
So Chaos killed all of the Eldar gods, right? Except for the Harlequin god?
I'm not entirely sure about that, but the Eldar did have their own mythology and their own religions and such, which did manifest as lesser chaos entity, or not chaos, but lesser warp entities that the four chaos gods eventually ate, for lack of a better word. See, in the warp, the more things believe in you, the more solid you become, basically. But the actual energy that they take to sustain themselves is based on raw emotion. So if you have a religious fervor to your emotions, then the entity that is created in the warp is very much a defined thing. However, Tzeentch, Khorne, Nurgle, and Slaanesh are very, very primal. They represent 4 almost what you might call like deadly sins. They kind of encompass all of them, in fact. Slaanesh is, excess and all that kind of stuff. Let me think. Nurgle is sloth, because he's all about despair and just letting the disease eat away at you without caring. Khorne is wrath. Tzeentch is envy and all that sort of stuff. And so because they were more based on gut reactions, I guess, gut feelings, the 4 other chaos entities basically are able to overwhelm the others. And so much of the Eldar pantheon has been devoured and destroyed.
Because I remember the only 2 gods that are left are the Harlequin god who's hiding, and Cain, but Cain is in pieces.
Yeah, Cain was their Khorne. Very similar names, very similar guys. But Cain was shattered into a bunch of pieces all over the warp, and he's basically never going to be able to be put back together. So, unfortunately for the Eldar, because it was their own hubris that brought about the creation of Slaanesh, Slaanesh basically has a de facto claim on their souls. So when they die, they are guaranteed to have their souls devoured by him/her. And there are several ways of dealing with this. The majority of Eldar, especially those on the craft worlds, create something called soul stones, which are made from a material called wraithbone that is able to basically house souls, or the warp entities that we commonly refer to as souls in this universe. But they have to set up this elaborate thing so that when an Eldar dies, he is automatically sucked into a little soul gem. Because if not, Slaanesh and her demons will just do that, and an eternity of torment awaits them. Now, there is another way to get rid of this, though. And this is where we meet the last faction of the Eldar, known as the Dark Eldar, which their name should probably make a lot of sense after I describe them. They are absolutely sadistic and evil, even more so than the forces of chaos. They don't worship the forces of chaos like the crazy, evil Viking space marines, They just go about causing pain and doing horrible, debauched things to generate pleasure, because so long as they are feeding the raw emotions that Slaanesh desires, her grip on them loosens a little bit. So they make regular raids out of the webway to capture prisoners just to torture to death over the course of years. They do horrifying things. They live in a city in the webway called Camorra, which is a little bit on the nose, but there you go. And they have huge gladiatorial pits where people are fight to the death. They're the most fearsome fighters ever. They just appear out of, again, the webway can basically lead anywhere. So they'll just appear instantaneously on your planet with no way to see them coming. They will hit your towns. They will kidnap everybody, and you will never hear from anyone ever again. And if you do, it'll be continuous screaming and begging for death. But yeah, that's all the Eldar. These are just the guys who were created by the old ones to be servants, mind you. When you have the old ones try to create something to be a weapon, you get a little something called an orc. And that will be my next week's summary for 40K factions.
Okay, before we move on, I had a couple of questions. So what are the Eldar like physically? Like, are they weaker than humans?
They're elves.
So they're weaker than humans?
A little bit, not really noticeably. They're a little bit taller on average and a little bit thinner on average. And they have
kind of
20
like
years.
fire warriors, or
No, fire warriors are short.
Oh, they are short. Oh, okay.
Yeah, Tau are like 5 feet tall average.
Oh, right, because they're mongoloids. But
yeah, basically.
so do elder reproduce?
Yes, they do. Yeah, and it's pretty much what you'd expect. It's just that they don't really they get bored with it. So unless it's the Dark Eldar who work continuously for thousands of years trying to get more and more and more. Well, the Dark Eldar are basically an entire civilization of this just gets me to normal.
Right, but it's just I was just wondering because they're a dying race, right? The Eldar,
they are a dying race, yeah, because their reproductive rate is very low. They do reproduce, but it's very low, and they are dying out slowly but surely. Because like a lot of them are too depressed to have children. Because like, why would you bring a child into this world if you know that a dark goddess has a claim on their soul automatically? It's pretty grimdark.
Right. So okay. So what happens to Dark Elder when they die?
It's they just generally they don't really try to think about it.
They just also get eaten by Slaanesh.
They do, but basically they're hoping that they're basically just trying to stave it off for as long as they can.
Mm-hmm.
That's basically it. That's why they're so twisted, because they're already nihilists and they're already given up.
I think what you said, which I find interesting, is that they don't worship the Chaos Gods.
They do not. No. But you don't have to, because again, this was part of why the Emperor's plan for his glorious Imperium didn't end up working out, because he wanted to enforce atheism like a communist state, because his thought process was, well, the warp is based on thoughts. So if I don't have anyone thinking of these evil demons or of gods in general, then it'll mellow out and it'll be safe for us to travel and everything. But like I said, it's not necessarily fully formed thoughts, but raw emotions that the warp feeds upon.
Right. So the Chaos Gods, yeah, it doesn't matter. Even if no one believed in them, they would still be powerful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they don't really care if you worship them or not. But of course, like the Chaos Space Marines and the cultists and everything worshiping them makes the emotions that get sent to them taste sweeter or something. It's basically all negative emotions that goes to them.
So how did the Eldar view humanity?
They call them monkeys, and they're complete dicks to them. They stab them in the back every chance they can get, and they're really, really mean. Which is another reason why the Emperor instituted the whole no aliens policy to begin with, because the Eldar were one of the only other alien races that the Imperium made contact with when he was around, and they were like terminally backstabby. Like they couldn't help themselves but betray us every time we worked together.
Yeah, because in the games, they all like the Dawn of War games, they almost make it look like they have some kind of like alliance or concordat or something.
Yeah, and the Eldar and humans do get along fairly well when they have to, but that betrayal.
They both really hate chaos.
They both, yeah, like that's the thing with 40K. It's set up in such a way that every faction has a reason to go to war with the other at all times, but certain factions will get together to fight others. For instance, the Tyranids, who I haven't talked about yet, they're basically the Zerg from StarCraft, and everybody will team up to fight them. Like, no questions asked, because there is like even the forces of chaos will be like, oh, hey, yo, time out, yo, we gotta deal with these bugs. But yeah, it's interesting.
So is the because my understanding is in 40K they used to at least have an alignment system of order and chaos.
What do you mean, like in the game rules or in general?
Yeah, or just in the meta or whatever. And like the order races were like Eldar, Tau, Empire.
That's kind of. That's more of a Warhammer Fantasy thing.
That's more Warhammer Fantasy thing. Okay.
Yeah. It's more or less, but like it's not just order versus chaos anymore. Like there's also, like what's a good example? Collectivism versus individualism. There's
There are individualistic races in 40K.
Yeah, I guess not. No, not really. No. I guess if you count the Imperial Knights as a race, but they're not a race. They're just that's something worth mentioning because that's a little side blurb. Side blurb. Here we go. So the Imperium has entire planets dedicated to being factories and entire planets dedicated to being farms. And on the planets dedicated to being farms, they kind of intentionally keep them from getting good technology to the point where most people on agri-worlds, as they're called for agriculture, are on like a medieval level of technology. Except certain barons are given giant battle mechs. And they're given these battle mechs in return for sending a large portion of food from their farms off for the Imperium. Like they show up every, once a year or something to gather the food. And they just have like a little spaceport, and that's very heavily guarded. And that's the only place where they're allowed to have any high technology stuff. And basically, they force a sort of Cold War between all the different kingdoms on these feudal worlds that are just nothing but farms for miles and miles. It's entire continent-sized farms. And then you'll have the certain kingdoms on these farm worlds will just go to war with each other with these giant battle mechs, which is really cool. But the battle mechs can actually be taken away from the planet for like tours of duty to like support other Imperial forces. Those are actually Titans in the background there. They're similar to Imperial Knights, but a lot bigger. Yeah. And it's really, really entertaining stuff, like giant chainsaws and artillery gun arm cannons. And like there's in the game rules, actually, there's a claw you can take. That is not an Imperial Knight. That is a Dreadnought. Just Google Imperial Knight.
Do the Eldar see the humans as their successors at all?
No, they see them as inferior vermin.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, for the most part. Yeah, the Eldar are just really, really bitter, and like they don't want to take any responsibility.
So they're the most positive. Them and humans are the most positive relationship between any two species in the franchise, and
yeah. Now the Tau, I'll talk about the Tau in detail later, but the Tau are willing to take anybody in. Yeah, there's an Imperial Knight. The Tau are willing to take anybody into their empire so long as they're brainwashed into their communist ideology. Mm-hmm. So take that as you will.
Do the Eldar have relations with the Tau at all, or do they just...
Well, actually, it's implied that the Tau Ethereals, the leading caste who they all sort of instinctively obey without question, may have actually been created by Eldar scientists.
Really?
Yes. It's because the Tau sort of... They didn't have the Ethereals when they were first observed, and they were just a primitive species. Then when they got cut off for a few thousand years, just suddenly they came back and they had freaking plasma rifles. And there were suddenly these wonderfully intelligent Buddhist monks in charge of everything.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
So you're going to do Orcs next week? Or
Orcs is next week, and Orcs are my favorite because they're the ones that I actually play on the tabletop, and I've got a bunch of them sitting on my desk in front of me right now. And they're probably the best thing about 40K. Or the worst thing, depending on who you ask.
All righty. I'm going to go ahead and take callers then. Our first caller is somebody known as Matt Fournay. I think he was one of the shooters up in Quebec, if I'm understanding correctly. Him and a guy named David Arine. Oh, fuck. I had to go take my dog out while you were rambling on about 40K.
Was it Matt Fournier or Matt Fournier?
I can't remember exactly how they butchered his name, but it's funny how that for those of you who don't get the reference, and I actually had both of them on just shortly after, but some joke tweet after there was that one shooting up in Quebec, some joke tweet said that the shooters had been identified as white supremacists Mathieu Fournier and David Arine, and they showed pictures of Arine and Fournier. And I think it was like the Daily Beast or something just ran with that. Like, yeah, we got this.
It was actually famous YouTuber John Green.
And Sam Hyde
that's not a joke.
Sam Hyde was also involved.
Yeah, certainly.
At this point, Sam Hyde could kill someone.
No, I mean John Green was the one who published that and wrote that article.
Oh, did he?
Yeah. Maybe it's a different John Green because that is kind of a generic name, but you know.
Okay, I'm almost feeling like I need to do a French Canadian accent. The Matt Fournier come into the mosque and he starts shooting people, and everybody running around, and they say
he fled all the way to Budapest afterwards before they caught up with him.
I have not been this excited since we almost won the referendum.
Come on, Matt.
That's probably funny for Canadian people who get that. I'm sorry.
Whenever I think of the referendum, I always think about that bit on The Critic back in the 90s when it was Viva Chez Sherman, Viva Quebec. Like, he imagines himself winning an Oscar, and at the end of the speech, he's just like, and free Quebec.
Hey, TK Stack Money.
Hey, Matt, what's on your mind?
Hey, long-time listener, first time. Actually, I'm not a first-time caller. Never mind. But I wanted to talk about a certain individual named Kurt Eichenwald. You may remember back in December that a brave man by the name of Jew Goldstein tweeted a flashing image at him and allegedly caused him to have a seizure. Well, now that individual has been arrested by the FBI for cyber stalking. I'm not making this up at all. I've got a story here for The Verge. FBI arrests alleged attacker who tweeted seizure-inducing strobe at Kurt Eichenwald. An arrest has been... Oh, by the way, Eichenwald is a major anti-Trump figure and a total fucking pussy.
Eichenwald.
Yes. An arrest has been made 3 months after someone tweeted a seizure-inducing strobe at writer and Vanity Fair contributing editor Kurt Eichenwald. The Dallas FBI confirmed the arrest to The Verge today and issued a press release with additional details. Eichenwald, who has epilepsy, tweeted details of the arrest and said that more than 40 other people also sent him strobes after he publicized the first attack. Their information is now with the FBI, he says. The suspect, John Rain Ravello, 29, of Salisbury, Maryland, allegedly sent a message to Eichenwald saying, "You deserve a seizure for your post." That message included the strobe. After pursuing a search warrant, police say they found Twitter direct messages in which Ravello discussed Eichenwald and said that he hoped his message would send him into a seizure and that he was waiting to see if the writer died. He additionally had a screenshot of a Wikipedia page for Eichenwald in which he altered it to say that the victim died on December 16, 2016, the day after he sent the strobe.
That's pro level right there.
What the hell?
I have to say, this is actually pretty chilling when you think about it. This guy is basically getting... Eichenwald got this guy arrested for making a prank, basically. A prank. And one of the really astounding things I find about it is not so much that he got arrested. It's a prank. But here's the thing. It took them 3 months to figure out who Jew Goldstein was. The FBI... A guy shitposting on Twitter who probably wasn't even using a proxy server. It took them 3 months.
Using his own email too.
Yeah. Holy shit. I'm halfway tempted to urge people to tweet strobe gifs at Kurt Eichenwald from behind proxy servers now, because given this record, the FBI may never find them.
I wonder how long it took them to figure out that Jew Goldstein wasn't a real name. They're like, wait a minute.
He's not in the phone book anywhere.
That's an anti-Shlomo joke.
No, they had to go through all the other Jew Goldsteins first.
There's a lot of them.
That's how they're like, oh man, it's not any of these guys.
Yeah, this is kind of chilling when you think about it. You know, it's a guy getting another guy arrested for political speech in the U.S. It's funny because I was at a conference today. The Knights Templar International and Identitas put together an anti-George Soros conference here in Budapest, which I was honored to attend. I also got to meet Nick Griffin, formerly of the BNP and a very big nationalist leader here in Europe. Both he and his partner James Dowson of the Knights Templar, they've been arrested repeatedly for just speaking out their minds on important political issues. Dowson was telling me about a guy who basically, I think, commented on Facebook, a kind of like Jews are maggots or something like mild like that. He got arrested the next day. You know, these are Brits. This kind of political persecution, if this thing goes to court or whatever, is coming to the U.S.
I'm gonna have to calm you down here a little bit. Sending a strobe image to someone who is a known published epileptic, that's not a political statement. That's just attempting to give someone a seizure.
I think it is douchey, to be honest.
Very much so. I don't think that's a free speech issue, you know?
Do you think it's an arrestable offense?
No.
Not really. Misdemeanor. I don't know. I mean, it depends on how severe the guy's epilepsy is. That potentially that can kill somebody. Potentially.
Well, that's the thing. We don't know how severe the seizure was.
Right.
All we have going on that is Eichenwald's own word, and that dude has literally been caught lying as a journalist before.
Which is
Yeah.
See, I don't know. It's sort of a gray area. To me, it sort of almost falls. I mean, like, you're not allowed to threaten someone, but you're allowed to wish harm on them, as it were. So it does sort of fall into a bit of a gray area. I mean, if you are so fucking, you know, if you're so delicate that just strobes aren't, you know, can nearly kill you, then you should already have, you know, safeguards built into your devices.
You probably shouldn't be using
or you shouldn't be using Twitter in the first place or something. I mean, you know,
let's be perfectly honest. I think he does deserve a seizure for his post, considering all the shit he's done. That's just my opinion, though. I could be wrong.
To be perfectly, I'm gonna rule that I think that he was kind of an asshole for doing it. I think he was probably kind of a douche, but I don't think the police should be
It was
involved.
pretty funny, though.
No, it's funny. I'm just saying. I do think if you think it's
there's a
douchey-
difference between something that's illegal and something that is you're just being an asshole.
It's just
And
asshole.
I think this leans a bit towards just being an asshole, but I will say, like, it is a bit of a gray area. But certainly putting a man in jail for it is nah.
And getting the FBI involved, Jesus Christ!
What a
Remember
waste.
when Yeah, they could be busy rounding up Hillary Clinton and pedogate people, but no, they're going after some neat.
That's silly. Why would they arrest themselves?
They're literally going after some neat in his parents' basement, literally. So I stand with this knee. I stand with this knee as a matter of free speech and defending assholeish behavior. Free Jude Goldstein. Free Jude Goldstein, and that's really all I gotta say about that. So thanks for taking my call, Bechtloff. Y'all have a wonderful, wonderful night.
You too.
Alrighty, let's get to the next caller. Who the hell's next? I got a bunch of callers tonight. All right, here we go. Got the second guy in line. I should really be more professional and be more ready to bring in the next caller, but I'm just not.
No one's more professional than us.
Yeah, that's why you need to send me more shekels there, Goyam, so I can get more professional. Yeah, need to send that more shekels. I want to buy DSP's BMW. So
you won't do viewer interaction unless they give you $1,250 a month on Patreon.
If you want to call in, you need to send me some shekels first.
What? Oh. Hello?
Hello, what's on your mind?
Pay up, Goy, before you start talking.
Yeah.
These 16 cents a word.
Well, I'm going to hold up to the camera my model of the Normandy SR2, and I'm going to represent my faith in the Bioware company right now.
Yeah.
Well,
And it's sad because Mass Effect was such a cool universe to start out with.
I love the universe, and again, I'm actually, heck, this is coming from someone who is even more forgiving, because I know some people disagree, but I actually liked Inquisition, and I'm looking at here like, how do we go from, because Inquisition looked really good, like it was using the Frostbite 3 engine, and it looked pretty good, and it's like, how do we go from this to that? It's like the massive down. Which, Bechtloff, did you show them the article I sent you? What Ralph Retort found?
Oh no, I didn't. I forgot about that one.
Yeah, basically Ralph Retort ran the story, which I don't know if he broke it or if someone else found it, but basically, apparently the lead facial animator, like the head of the facial animation director, is apparently a cosplayer who has had no experience in this department ever. Like, Bechtloff, you can look into the messages and like give that to Luke, and maybe you can put that on screen.
Oh boy.
Well, also, how do I put things into a chat? Because I want to show you this GIF.
It's right on the side of the window.
Is it the chat one?
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to see if Luke can put this on screen, because this is great. Razor Fist put this on his Twitter.
Okay, goody. Let me see. What?
There you go. Run it.
Let me see if I can. I can get this on the screen. Hold on.
Look on the left. Ah.
Let me get this on the screen.
Oh yeah, get it on the screen.
It's like
okay. I can understand hiring a first timer for like walking animations, but facial animation is really difficult.
Yeah, and
this is like the hardest thing to do.
And I don't mind
battery commercials, the Puttermans. Remember that? If you're as old as I am, there were these like creepy puppet monsters that were in fucking Duracell battery commercials. It's that level of creepy.
Oh god. Oh, you want to see the romance scene with that thing?
Oh god.
But like, and it's just like okay, I love Mass Effect 1, I love Mass Effect 2. Mass Effect 3 I actually do like, but I understand that there are parts of it, like the Chewchonk bits I actually like, but I have some regrets, some problems with it. But and then I even like Inquisition, and I was like, okay, maybe with them rebooting the franchise and they had a new creative director, maybe, you know, we can start fresh. But then, like, I started reading stories, because, like, even before the social justice stuff, I was already getting worried, because they lost the creative director, they lost like one of the producers, I think they lost one of the main writers, and they lost a couple other people at the top. And that's just at the top. So who knows how many people from the bottom have left? And I thought that was just EA again being EA. And then when the Twitter of Manveer Hair came out, as we all saw, and then I was like, oh, and then the fact that we didn't know anything. Like, we had the reveal trailer in 2015, and it was supposed to come out last year, but there was nothing. Like, absolutely nothing. We did not start getting actual images of this thing until, like, I think, like, even then, like, November was when we actually started getting some gameplay of this, and I was like, oh, God, they're hiding this. That's not making it. And now that I see, I'm like, oh, sweet Jesus. So this is coming from someone who was still sticking with it. And even then, if it was for the facial animations, I'm, like, looking at this, and I haven't paid too much attention to the story, but I've seen some people already point out some major flaws. But, like, one, why are there Krogan on this expedition mission? Because Krogan have, again, a very violent history, and which you think this expedition thing, it would be just the 4 council races. The humans, Solarians, and Turians. But Krogan are along, and also, why would you want to bring, how many Krogan are you going to bring? Because they're all going to be dead within a generation because of the genophage. Oh, and some cutscenes like, oh, no, you see, when they were in hyperspace, we did some little genetics thing, so we kind of eased the genophage, so it's not as bad. So it's like, so I guess
you could just do that?
You could just do that.
Yeah, apparently it's like, oh, so the Chewchonka mission and the impact that had, more than sacrifice and all that stuff. Apparently that didn't mean jack crap.
Yep, nope, that was all just, oh yeah, we could have just done that, in our spare time while everybody was in hypersleep.
Oh, God. Oh, yeah, and even looking at the characters, because again, that's one of the main reasons why I play BioWare games is the characters. And like I said, even in Dragon Age Inquisition, I liked some of the characters in that. I love Solus. I even like Dorian. I liked Cassandra. Like a bunch of stuff. The two I found, well, okay, one, she wasn't even really a character. She was just a mantle. But I did not care for Sarah. And I really did not like Krem, which the less said about him, her, whatever, the better. But anyway... looking at the Mass Effect Andromeda character, okay, we got the two human characters no one's ever going to give a shit about, because let's be honest, who has actually given a shit about the human characters in Mass Effect? Any Jacob fans out there? And the only reason why people liked Miranda was because of her ass, let's be honest.
And her attractive, her face was just ugly enough to be believable.
Her butterface? I love her butterface.
But look at this, okay, look at the Andromeda characters. It's like, okay, we have a new alien race, which I would be excited, because when we were doing the new galaxy, I was actually like, yay, figured we could get some cool new mythology and some new races, but the new aliens just look generic, they just look okay. And then we got a female, we got a female Turian, which is actually something I've been wanting to see, so I'm like, okay, that's 1+. But then we got an old Krogan where it's like, oh, he likes to fight. It's like, okay, so every Krogan ever, we've already done this twice with Rex and Grunt. Could we have at least tried to do something different with a Krogan? Rather than going back to the Rex well. And then, of course, we got Peebee, who is the loveliest star you see on the screen. She just looks like she's going to imbibe all the worst aspects of Sarah, which, oh, God, yeah.
She looks like something from Mystery Science Theater 3000.
Well,
like from what operating on someone.
From what I see, she seems like and don't get me wrong, I love fun, quirky characters, but my problem with Sarah was how obnoxious she was, and you could not understand what the hell she was saying half the time.
You mean that long string of curses wasn't good writing?
Oh, God. It was there's a way to do characters like that, and that's not one of them. And I found her so irritating. And to me, Peebee looks like exactly the same, but she seems like the hyper obnoxious, I'm just going to do whatever I want on the fly. She ejects you out of an airlock randomly. It was an escape pod, but no explanation. Random. It's, oh, God. It's just, oh, God, this just hurts, because I've stuck with this for so long. I'm like, okay, maybe this is even me being like, oh, God, I'm not even going to buy it. I'm like, oh, Jesus, which I'm curious as to what is going to happen, because this has been such a PR disaster, because they have been on full damage control. And going back to people who have left, Mike Laidlaw left, and he was one of the main minds behind Dragon Age. So I'm pretty sure Dragon Age is in the shit can. And to answer your question, when you mentioned the MMO Old Republic, that's in BioWare Austin, and this is in BioWare Edmonton, which is in Canada. So you can.
There you go.
We ruined everything.
Yeah, and
I'd like to apologize to everyone on behalf of my country.
Your entire country is known for apologizing.
Guys, okay, you guys seriously need to start doing a Canadian Inquisition. Seriously, where's the Canadian Inquisition? We need it, or Crusade.
We have Justin Trudeau as our prime minister, but yeah, I don't know. Have they been talking about making Jade Empire 2? Because they've been talking about that forever.
Honestly, what I think is going to happen?
No, never.
No. What I think is going to happen is because Inquisition stayed off death temporarily, but I think this is going to bomb. EA is going to come in and liquidate, and one studio is probably going to get Mass Effect, and another studio is probably going to get Dragon Age. Austin, BioWare Texas will still be up because they're still running Old Republic, but I honestly think this will be it. I will be surprised because they've been on death's door, I'll say, since Mass Effect 3. They've been on death's door.
Did they lose money on Inquisition?
I don't, I remember it doing well, but I don't think it was one of those things where it was raking in truckloads. I think it was like, okay, we were able to get something out of that. But
I mean, there's sometimes like when they have like shitty movie sequels, like it'll make money just because it's a sequel to something, but the price is destroying all goodwill and all like future ability to make profit. If they make money off of Mass Effect Andromeda, I'll be shocked.
Oh God, no! Like
the development costs on this must have been astronomical.
$40 million apparently is what we're hearing.
$40 million they
that
blew
cost
this
$40
shit?
million.
Great facial animation. Like seriously, and you look at, I'm like, I've seen oh God, the facial animations. And again, not even going, because people have been comparing it to Mass Effect 1, even going to Inquisition, which was on the same engine, or hell, go to like Battlefront 1, not Battlefront 1, Battlefield 1. Battlefield 1, again, same engine.
Dragon Age 1 looked really good. It looked way better than this.
Yeah. But like, so it just breaks my heart. But yeah, I wanted to bring up the whole, cosplayer, which kind of get like, okay, which no, they made a bad decision with that. But to me, like going into some of because there's a lot of talented people, all over the place, like, just writers and filmmakers and animators and artists that you can find, and obviously I wouldn't mind getting that talent, but here they did not get someone. They just grabbed someone off. It's like, hey, you have a face, let's make you the animation director, even though you have no experience with
but I don't understand this, because if I were to go to like some random college and find like someone in graphic that like in animation just go make me a face, they would do a better job than that.
God, yeah. Like I have no experience with facial animation, and I would not want to be the director of the facial department. I would like, no, get someone here. I'll handle writing. I can handle that just fine, but do not get me anywhere near the facial animation department.
I just don't know how they do worse than something like a kid out of college could do.
You've seen Gary's mod videos with better facial animations.
I actually have.
Yeah. No, I'm not joking. That's the sad part. I'm not joking. Anyway. So yeah, death of a franchise, which sucks because in 2010, Mass Effect looked like it was like going to be the next big thing, and then Mass Effect 3 happened with the ending, and then this. It's like, well, you pretty much just torpedoed this franchise into oblivion.
Well, it's EA destroys everything.
Yeah. Well, this was, I don't even think this was EA. This was their own devices.
Anyway. Yeah, EA had nothing to do with this. This was all BioWare being idiots.
Which I want to know, I don't know, I always have fun with like disastrous behind the scenes stuff. I'm kind of curious to look into because I don't know, something tells me the development on this was an absolute nightmare. So I'm curious to hear the stories that come out of this, like with Aliens, Colonial Marines, and Destiny, the behind the scenes drama, because I feel like there's a lot of drama that happened within this company.
Sorry, just something interesting in the chat. Someone says, if Andromeda gets Game of the Year over Breath of the Wild, I will give up hope on the entire gaming industry. I actually hope it does.
You still have hope for the gaming industry.
No. I actually hope that they do give this Game of the Year, because whenever they do that, like give shit like Moonlight like best film, it just alienates people. And every time they do it, it makes it more like irrelevant.
I'm a film person. I don't give a shit about the Oscars. It's like, no, they just, okay, this is going to be me going into conspiracy theory, and you can say I'm wrong, but having actually done live, like simulate in college, of course, but still doing like live TV events and even internship of a TV station, seeing a live event, I honestly think that Oscar shit was staged. Like, a part of me thinks that was all just for...
No, it was. It probably was. Because my point is just whenever they do that, I think they shoot themselves in the foot because people don't give a shit. Because they're like, what the fuck is this random movie that won? I don't care anymore. And so they can give shit like this Game of the Year, but all they're doing is just burning the candle at both ends.
Oh, yeah. But I even like saw like a page. Apparently, even Kotaku is starting to get doubts. Which, when Kotaku is starting to get doubts, yeah, that might be a problem.
You done goofed, son.
Yeah. Which I wonder what
has this been out?
Oh, this is coming out next week.
Oh, it hasn't been out yet?
No, this is just
okay.
well. Apparently, there was like some free trial thing you could do with EA Access, and you could play the first 10 hours. And that's what we're seeing from the EA Access people.
The demo was the first 10 hours of the game. Wow, that's weird.
How did they cut that off? Like, is there a clock?
I don't know. I like in apparently this like was a early access thing, according from what I'm hearing.
I like to go on the record saying I just kind of hate early access in general.
But yeah, it's just going back to the Oscars thing, real quick tangent. But it's just having done sat in on a live TV event. Let's just say if something like that were to happen, there would be a lot of screaming, and someone would have gotten fired, if not several people. Because with live TV events, you want to make sure nothing goes wrong with something that catastrophist. No. If that actually was real, someone's head was definitely on the chopping block. But anyway, so I guess, figure real quick thing, since, talked about the Andromeda thing real quick, but being a native of Tennessee, so Trump came over to Tennessee, yay.
And he put a wreath on Andrew Jackson's grave.
Well,
which shows us what kind of an awesome president we have right now.
Well, I don't know if you've seen it, but the I Believe in Tennessee wall thing, which since I'm a native, I see it. But there's this built wall that has like the Tennessee flag, and it says "I Believe in Tennessee," and it's like kind of a famous spot that tourists go to get selfies with. And apparently, when Trump came down, some jackass put black paint on it as like, oh, how terrible.
Idiot.
Yeah, no, that actually really pissed me off. So yeah, just.
So you're saying some liberal acted like a complete shitbag?
I can't see it being a conservative.
I am shocked. I'm shocked and appalled that something like that would happen.
Yeah. Anyway,
I'm so triggered right now.
So figured, okay, I pretty much talked all I can. So,
all right. Well, thanks for calling. I'm gonna bring in next callers.
Thank you for having me, and long live the Mass Effect franchise, as good as it was for at least 2 entries.
All right.
1.
All right. So the next callers, I'm bringing in both Jameses at the same time. We're going double James on it.
Oh God, it's a crossover episode.
We're going black.
Sorry, I'm just gonna probably go to bed actually.
Oh sure. Thanks for being on.
Yeah, I just wanted to thank you for having me on. I had a lot of fun. Have a good weekend, guys.
Welcome on here anytime.
Bye.
Right, so we're going Black James and British James at the same time. It's a menage a James over here. Fuck, man, I am weirdly tired myself. I'm getting old, I guess. Let's see. Check the chat while I'm waiting on the Jameses. Double dose of James in your face. Tale of 2 James. Let's see. Did Trump give Shia a new flag? Let's see. Okay, dead air. We got some dead air here while we're waiting on everybody. Very professional. Very, very professional on my part. Let's see. In the chat here, we got.
Oh, now you're making me tired.
You have to pay for the Mass Effect demo. Somebody asked. I guess. Yeah, I don't particularly care for early access. I don't care for a lot of this kind of shit the game industry does. I'm not even especially fond of DLC as a concept. I mean, just fucking sell me a game. How about that? For fuck's sake. Who Firefox is telling me what? Who's messaging me here? Somebody's not. Man, you know what? All right, screw it. I'm bringing John Steele in. He wanted to hop in here too, so I'm just bringing him in because I'm dealing with too much dead air waiting on these bum callers. You know, y'all are lucky I'm not like Christopher Cantwell. He don't tolerate that shit at all.
I found the footage where they're walking on their knee or walking across.
Oh, where they like took a dump in their pants. This is great stuff, man.
Well, I
feel like there should be Benny Hill music playing when they walk around like this. Just fucking took a dump. Look at it. I gotta take a dump.
It stays stuck that way the entire time.
Why is this door locked? I need to take a shit. And then she goes all newt there.
Oh yeah, there's the newt one.
Right after it. Newt. Oh man. John Steele, what's on your mind?
Hey guys, how you doing? A couple of things. First, I'd just like to say that I'm kind of shocked that you had a terrorist on that shot people in Quebec, Matthew Fournier.
He's hiding in Hungary from authorities.
I completely disavowed him and Davis Orion.
Yep. David Orion.
David Orion. So yeah, I wouldn't. Another thing I want to say is to people listening. Hey guys, I only see like 27 likes, you know, and there's 76 people watching. You know, do the Bechtloff man a favor. Click the like button. You know, be kind. You know,
there's 76 people watching.
Yeah.
Don't you people have anything better to do?
It's 75. Oh yeah, that's a way to do it, Undertow. That'll get them. That'll get them to click the like button.
Oh, by the way, I do want to say thank you. Somebody this week sent me actual shekels once again. Now, the great thing about PayPal is if somebody sends you a different currency, you can instantly transfer it to American dollars. But yeah, somebody sent me some shekels this weekend.
Did they send you 14.88 shekels?
No, they did not send. I have had people who send me $14.88. That's all right. I've also had a $17.76. That was nice too. As Alex Jones says, 1776 will commence again. People want to shit
but
on
anyway,
Alex Jones, but I can't. I love the guy. I love the guy. That humble water filter salesman. But you were saying, John.
Oh yeah, well, one of the things I wanted to bring up, I missed. I've been listening for almost the last hour, so I missed it before that. So I don't know if you talked about it, but first off, I want to say I haven't seen the King Kong movie yet, but I want to because I actually spoke to Undertow. I think it was Wednesday, and he said it was really good.
It's surprisingly great. Yeah,
I've heard good.
Yeah, like because I had really poor hopes for it because some of these movies, you know, they're so hyped and they all suck. Like the Godzilla movie, I thought sucked when I came out. These monster movies, and they've been done before. And I also spoke to a good friend of mine I was just talking to before your show started, and he knows all about movies. And anyway, he told me this little backstory. So, and don't give it. So when I'm talking about this, don't give me any spoilers about the Kong movie because I haven't seen it yet, and I still want to see it. So. As I'm talking, don't say, "Oh, that reminds me of the scene where he dies."
They all die.
What happened? Yeah, don't do that. So what's going to happen is there's another movie coming out now. It's going to come out after this one called Godzilla King of the Monsters, and then after that, they're planning on a Godzilla versus King Kong movie.
Yes, and the rematch everyone's been demanding since that one 60s cheese fest.
Yeah, that totally sucked dick. But because I don't know if I was Undertow I was talking to someone else about this, but it takes place in the same universe as the Godzilla movie that sucked, the 2014 Godzilla movie that I thought it sucked because you never got a really clear.
It was pretty lame. It starts off really good, but I didn't mention that it was in the same universe because I didn't want to give you any spoiler at all.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I found out. Yeah, he told me it's in the same universe. So that Godzilla is. I don't know how they're gonna write it or anything. I don't have any insight into the script, but it's in that same universe. And like I said, I haven't seen the movie yet, and I don't want to know anything more than that. But in the future, that sounds like it would be really cool, like a King Kong versus Godzilla. I didn't see the movie, so I don't know how powerful King Kong is, or maybe they're going to expose him to radiation in the future story, and maybe he'll have some sort of Godzilla breath too, or I'm just trying to figure out how a gorilla could stand a chance against atomic breath, but we'll see.
I think it sounds good. It sounds promising. And that's one thing the Marvel movies kind of broke the mold on, is where movie studios are now not afraid to do these big shared universe movie series that span all over the place.
Well, this isn't actually even a new thing for Godzilla, because
it's not. But
hey, can y'all hear me?
All the old kaiju movies were all shared.
I'm sorry. It took me a while to get my thing to come on.
Oh, it's okay. We weren't waiting for you. We already moved on. So you missed your chance.
We already moved on.
No. Let me see if I can get British James. I don't know.
An interesting thing about the Godzilla franchise is back in the 70s, Marvel had the rights to make Godzilla comics. And the way Toho works, they sell the rights to their monsters individually. So all they had was Godzilla, so they just worked it into the Marvel universe.
Oh, I heard about that, and they had to alter him dramatically.
It went on for like 24 issues, and the rights cost them. It sold like mad, but the rights were costing them exorbitant amounts of money, so they stopped. But it's actually canon in the Marvel universe. Like there's this one thing called Red Ronin, which is this big, this big samurai robot that's in Japan that was actually built specifically to fight Godzilla, that pops up in Marvel comics all the time.
I used to read that comic when I was a little kid. I know that whole story.
In fact, the Marvel Comics Godzilla is actually, it's reprinted. I mentioned those essential volumes. There is an essential Godzilla, even though Marvel doesn't have the rights. They have been able to reprint those comics.
There was one where he fought Spider-Man, wasn't it?
Spider-Man appears briefly in one issue where the Avengers are fighting him, and him and Daredevil are just kind of off to the side, like, yeah, there's not really much we could do here.
Well, anyway, I'm glad that y'all let me on here. I'm a big fan of the show, and stuff. And I'm sorry if I seem kind of like if I'm kind of messing up, and I must seem like really like out of sync and everything. But it's like y'all gotta understand, like, this whole city that I'm in, we got fucking obliterated recently in in the weather, man. Let me tell you, on Wednesday last week, we got hit with 70-mile-per-hour winds for 10 hours straight.
That is hurricane level.
I know, that's literally what they called it. And buildings were falling, and trees were falling, and buildings were burning, and people died, families died, and it was like 9,000 power lines were down. 1 million people in this city were blasted out of fucking power for 6 days straight, and it was 10 degrees for like 5 of those days. So we were sitting around with propane heaters on and just barely trying to fucking survive. It's like normally it looked like The Purge. That for that period of time it looked like Mad Max. Thank God I lived like literally next door to a Checkers, or I would have starved. But oh, you think I'm kidding?
I like Checkers.
No, I just find that amusing.
Oh. So is that Bridge, James?
Oh yeah, sorry, I had to install the new browser.
Here we go. Now we got the two James on here.
So what I wanted to come on and I was gonna say was that I wanted to just kind of come on and whine about like both the Maddow Capone's Vault incident and what they fucking did to Mass Effect Andromeda. Good Lord Almighty. So y'all already saw that.
We already talked all about that. Yeah.
But y'all ain't heard the half of it though, because y'all haven't seen half of it, because y'all haven't seen some of the posts and the tweets that the people that made the game, the women and the men that made the game have made. Have you?
Well, I've seen some of their like fuck whitey tweets and stuff like that.
And saying stuff like so you haven't seen, like, there was a movie that one of the women who made this game, she made a movie for her art class or something, and that was the reason why she was like hired by them or something. And they look at this movie, and it literally, one of the parts in the movie is literally just a gray wall with like a little thing flickering around it, and it says, "I hate men." Thank you. Like that was exactly my reaction.
I'm amazed she didn't win an Oscar.
And that was what got her hired.
Is that just BioWare in a nutshell or what?
That's what got her hired.
Yep. Well, they saw that and were like, "That's what we got to have some more of."
Oh God! And so they decided that they were going to make the women "quote unquote" more realistic looking. Which
you ever notice that?
Which is a word for uglier.
Ugly? Yeah.
Yeah.
Every time they're like,
I actually think the main chick isn't that ugly compared to the alien chick. Whoo! But that actually kind of dives into something else that's been happening this week. That kind of with the Beauty and the Beast thing that's coming out. And besides the fact that Emma Stone said something that 90s kids like me have been thinking for years, which is like, why the hell would the Beast want to look like a human when he looks cool like this? I don't understand. But the other thing was that now there are some people online that are complaining. They're saying that the Belle character from Beauty and the Beast is too unrealistically attractive, and that she needs to look more realistic and less attractive. I'm like, it's called Beauty and the motherfucking Beast, nigga. What the fuck? And the same thing is going on with Mass Effect because they're saying that about
average chick in the Beast.
They drew a picture that I wish I could fucking have it, but I wish I fucking had it. But there was a picture that they drew of what they wanted her to look like, and it wasn't that bad looking, but it was just kind of like a pudgy white girl with like blonde hair and glasses and freckles. And
it's like me.
Exactly.
I can't relate to anything unless it looks exactly like me.
The thing is, they did get an average girl. They got Emma Watson. That's fairly average by my standards.
Oh shit! Oh, mic drop. Damn. But
well, I just think they need the girl to have rainbow colored hair. That
she did. Blue, she had like a pink streak in her hair.
They should have cast Whitney, Wisconsin.
Oh God!
No, cast Trigley probably.
I should think the real point
brings a whole new meaning to tale as old as time, huh?
Because Whitney, Wisconsin was trying for years has been trying to make her own live action Beauty and the Beast, and nobody's giving her any credit for it.
I think the problem is we've actually gendered this woman. It should be Women, Beauty, and the Zer.
It should be two entities that identify as they damn well please. The movie.
I agree, but I agree with what Emma Stone said. She said, like, why the hell would the Beast want to look like a human when he already looks like a cool monster? It's like, what's the point there? And that's what I was thinking when I was a kid, and everyone online fucking agrees with that point. And I don't understand why nobody has ever brought this up before. Why the hell would he want to go from being an immortal chimera to being a human again?
So I wasn't the only one.
Well, you know what that movie... I think we all saw Beauty and the Beast as a kid and thought, you know what this needs? It needs a faggot character shoehorned in there. That's what it needs. Like,
he was already kind of a fag, though, wasn't he?
Some B-list character.
No, he was drooling over women the whole time.
Yeah, he was
like the polar opposite.
He was like a dork.
Are we talking about Gaston or are we talking about LeFou?
No, Gaston's little buddy, LeFou or whatever.
Yeah, really? I don't remember that part.
The funny thing is,
I think I remember seeing that movie. I was like, you know what? This would be great if only some minor character in there mentioned that he loves sucking dick. Then that would make this movie complete.
The way that this ties into Mass Effect Andromeda is because the same mentality of like, Beauty needs to be more realistic is the same mentality that they're using in Mass Effect Andromeda. Oh, the Asari need to be more realistic, which means ugly.
The squid-headed, blue-skinned aliens that look exactly like humans all happen to be female, even though they don't reproduce sexuality.
People want to make realistic. People want to make fiction not aspirational anymore. You know what I mean? They want to basically kill heroes. Like I, as a kid, I never fucking read a Spider-Man story.
Somebody finally fucking said what I've been thinking ever since I looked at Kamala.
I never read a Spider-Man comic and said, "Man, I wish Spider-Man was kind of fat, so I wouldn't feel as bad about not hitting."
Oh, have you seen the fat superhero girl?
Faith. Yeah, I've seen that. Now you know what's kind of interesting about that? Okay, so she has telekinetic powers. It would be kind of interesting to explore the idea that her powers aren't based on anything physical. So she's not in that good a shape. That would be in one level kind of interesting if that's what we were trying to do, instead of like, yay, fat chicks are beautiful.
You want to know what the problem with that is? They already did that way back in the 90s. They did it with a black character, and it was even better. And they did it in Image Comics. Oh, what you mean, Rob Liefeld? Yeah, Rob Liefeld, and it was way better, and it was a black guy. And basically, the entire premise behind him was that he was basically like, I forgot what his name was now, but he used to hang around with the Youngblood types and the Brigade and stuff like them. And he was just this kind of skinny black kid who could like bench press a skyscraper because he could think really hard. And they just kind of went with the whole premise.
I remember it was some meme I saw where it was like a picture of Green Lantern, you know, and it was like, why does Hal Jordan have abs as nice as Batman when his powers have nothing to do with his body?
That's actually not really true. It does kind of have something to do with his body. He's drawing energy kind of like from.
Well, it's more his willpower, which you could argue.
What about Professor X or Xavier?
Yeah, Professor X could be. Yeah. I mean, I guess if you wanted to try to overanalyze the quote unquote science of it, you could say, well, maybe he's burning calories doing it. The energy has to come from somewhere, but it does
have something to do with his metabolism, and
it would be an interesting thing to explore, like somebody whose power has nothing to do with, you know, their physical body, and their physical body isn't in the best of shape. But that's not what this is. This is like, hey, look, it's okay that she's fat. Let's celebrate being fat. That's what it is.
Well, but here's the thing: is like all of this actually kind of again leads back to the whole like what they did with Andromeda, because all of this is like why is it that the alien girl has to look ugly by human standards or realistic by human standards? She's not a human. So what her race considers to be average could be what our race considers to be, you know, Brooklyn Decker. You know,
it's been kind of isn't it the whole thing with the Asari is that they emanate psychic like waves and stuff, so they sort of tailor their appearance to whoever's looking at them, right?
Yes.
Isn't that basically part of their like? So why would they look ugly? Oh, wait a minute, because the audience for Mass Effect is now overweight women who want to see other women be uglier than them.
Well, also like just more importantly, like let's just assume for a moment that this is all like exactly how it works, and these things really these alien creatures that aren't human and have no reason whatsoever to look anything remotely like a human woman in any way. Let's just assume that they do look like realistic human females. Okay, their entire civilization, literally from top to bottom, is built upon them being able to seduce men from other races and get them to have sex with them. So what the hell would they want to look like that for? Why wouldn't they have evolved or altered themselves surgically to look different? You know? It doesn't make any sense.
Like the Asari don't make much sense in general, but like to then say like, well, they're not realistic enough. You're like, bitch, please, you know.
But but more than that though, like even more than that, it's like it's also just kind of like the whole. If we're gonna go there, if we're gonna go into like they have to look the way we do, then why on earth are we gonna go into even the Asari having the tentacles on their head? Why are we gonna go into them having blue skin? That's not realistic human appearance either.
Yeah, why do we have the Solarians with big bulbous eyes? Oh, why do we have the Krogan with the big muscle? That's an unrealistic image for men to aspire to, you know?
Yeah,
oh
but
God.
But male privilege, you know.
The movie is supposed to. Oh Jesus. I'm looking at this article. British
the one I sent.
Yeah,
yeah,
British sent me.
Oh, Faith. This pic is really. When you said fat, I mean you weren't kidding. That's fat. I mean,
It's faith to believe she'll ever get into a costume. That's faith.
Faith to believe she could actually reach around to wipe her own ass.
It's faith to believe.
You telling me that the Beauty and the Beast original is actually AIDS?
Oh yeah, the
Wow.
lyricist, the actual soundtrack composer, based his songs on his battle with AIDS.
BRB killing himself.
Time is based on him fighting AIDS.
It's like poetry, it rhymes.
I saw Beauty and the
AIDS
Beast on
is old
Broadway.
as time.
I saw it on Broadway in New York.
I got HIV.
It's a good thing my favorite Disney film isn't Beauty and the Beast.
My favorite Disney film is The Lion King. It's basically Hamlet, but less violent.
Oh, that's a surprise.
My favorite Disney film was the original Tron because it doesn't feel like a Disney film. It feels more like, a generic 80s adventure movie.
Oh, God.
My other favorite Disney film is Little Mermaid because Ariel is such a fucking airhead. She'd be willing to fuck any human that just to see what it feels like. And I'm like, there, I'm done. I'm in it. Let's go.
So can we call you Fish Fucker from here on out?
Sure. Technically, she's a dolphin. Technically, she's a dolphin, but
his nickname is now Fish Fingers.
Dolphin. Hold on now. Those are clearly not dolphin scales.
She breathes air. Your argument's invalid.
Oh shit.
She doesn't breathe air.
Yes, she does.
No, she's an amphibian, if anything. Like
she can breathe.
She doesn't need to surface every couple of hours. She can stay down there as long as she wants. So clearly, she's an amphibian.
Okay, I can see that.
Dolphins.
What are the mermaids? I never really thought about that. What the fuck are mermaids? Like biologically?
Biologically, they're manatees that drunken sailors saw from a distance.
Well, biologically, they're not even fucking real.
Oh God. So the other thing that me and British James are talking about had to do with what all the madness that's gone down with the Switch.
Yeah, I'm starting to think that might be getting blown out of proportion.
Really?
Yeah, well, it's there's
the
definitely
one where the guys, one of the Switch's little disc things exploded and the guy and like injured his hand.
Sure, that's bad. That's bad. No, but I think it's like
it's blown out of proportion.
Well, it's not. What I'm saying is, I get it. But what I'm saying is that like there might be a higher percentage of hardware failures than normal. But I think it's just being amplified a little bit more than like it. The way things are being talked about, it's like if you buy a Switch, there's a 74% chance it's just going to be dead, and that's not really the case. It might be 1 in 20,000 or 2 in 20,000 or whatever.
That's the problem with the internet. You can
that is
have
the problem.
One article basically repeated 1 million times, and you think it's 1 million times.
Suddenly, gamers are dead. But like. What was I going to say? The one thing about this that really made me angry was Nintendo saying that dead pixels aren't a defect. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Like, are you serious? That is one of the scummiest things, not only that I've seen Nintendo do, but I've seen any company do. Like, can you imagine if Apple came out and said, like, oh, the iPhone 8, it might have some dead pixels, but that's not a defect, and we won't replace it for that.
Oh, I think that is the picture I saw. Yeah, that's the one. That's the one.
You know what makes me angry about this?
Luke, you gotta send that to me.
Okay, Luke, before you send it to Bechtloff, fix it so that it's the proper form of effect. A-F-F-E-C-T. God damn it. A effect is a verb. E effect is a noun. It's not hard.
Well, I'm glad to see Davis Arini is here in spirit, you fucking grammar Nazi.
You shut your face.
Wait,
the continual degradation of the English language is how we got to the mess we're in today.
Wait, can someone change that title to Beauty and the Ham Beast?
I just got a question. Did Luke just do that? Did he just do that now?
Yeah.
You're a fucking genius. That is
really?
He's clearly not a fucking genius because he used the wrong effect. There we go.
There we go.
Thank you.
Thank you. No, wait. You just made that now?
Yeah.
I thought, Beauty and the Beast in Whitney, Wisconsin. That'd be perfect.
That is literally the one I saw online. So that's literally the one I saw online. Except she had glasses.
Oh, really?
Like that's it. That's literally it. She had glasses. That's the one I saw.
Oh,
that they were talking
well,
about.
there you go.
Maybe they had the same thought of putting Whitney, Wisconsin on it.
No, this was
That is
like,
fucking
had
brilliant.
glasses, so and kind of freckles, so it might have been a different person, but yeah, it was basically it. Wow, damn, y'all hit that fucking thing like a bullet. What the fuck?
Oh man, that's fantastic.
It doesn't affect you.
Doesn't affect you.
It does affect me. Actually.
Dude, there's that one clip where they take like it was the one thing where she's like, and what I do, it doesn't affect you. And then I fuck dogs. And I loved, like, I showed that to coworkers and shit like that. I'm like, you gotta wait for it. Somebody,
this is a person. Wait. This is a person I'm supposed to be aware of.
For it. And it's like, and then she this girl I work with she just looked at it. She goes, she does what now?
Wait, this is a person I should be aware of. This is something that's happening.
Oh, you don't know Whitney, Wisconsin?
I have no idea who the fuck Whitney Wisconsin.
Oh God! Do we want to scar his psyche? Do we really want to do that?
In short, Whitney Wisconsin was a YouTuber who made videos talking about how it's a good thing to fuck dogs. How she fucks dogs and it's a good thing.
What now?
And if
she's boding fighter.
She's all like, "What I do doesn't affect you."
That was good, Britt James. I like that.
No, that was my actual reaction. It's like she made a video about how she was fucking dogs. He said.
Yes, she had a video that went viral. 10 reasons why girls should fuck dogs. Your silence speaks volume.
I've never seen it.
What like? Wait. Is this like a way that she says like fucking women, black men, or like what is the dog in this scenario?
Dog,
a canine.
Canis familiaris.
A domesticated wolf.
Oh Christ!
Like that.
She wasn't speaking metaphorically. She meant it literally, like as in she fucks a dog.
Yes, as in
5 minutes
places its weird fucking red penis inside her vagina.
The funny thing is, 5 minutes after this picture, that dog was found hanging itself.
Couldn't deal with the shame.
Okay, See, here's the thing, and this is why I'm tired. This is why I'm tired of liberals, and I had to get the fuck out of that. I could get the fuck out of that as soon as I possibly could. This kind of bullshit, where they are willing to just accept anybody's weird ass fucking sexuality without even questioning it. They're willing to accept anything that anybody fucks, anybody does. They're trying to get bills passed so that people with HIV don't have to tell you. They're trying to get bills passed so that pedophiles are protected. They're trying to get bills passed so that crazy bitches like this are fucking protected. Why? It's like, can we not just have a limit where we are just going to draw a line here and say, no, actually, this form of sexuality is not a thing we're going to fucking do. God damn it.
Yes, actually, liberals do have a limit. If you're a healthy heterosexual man and you walk up to a woman and say, hey, can I buy you a drink sometimes? That's rape. No. And that's no good.
I've never been accused of rape, but I have been accused of being a Klansman on at least 2 different occasions. I actually have no, I'm serious. I have been accused on 2 different occasions of somebody saying saying that I was a white supremacist and a Klansman. I had to tell them like I'm black, and on at least more than one occasion, I say that I'm black, and they say like, oh, I don't believe you. You're just pretending. If black people are such a oppressed minority, why the fuck am I pretending? What do I look like, Rachel Dolezal?
Your Uncle Ruckus.
Do I look like Barack Obama? So I'm fucking like, so I had to like send a picture to these people on more than one occasion and go like, here's my fucking proof. I have to prove my niggerdom to these idiots. And then they would give me something like, oh, you're confused. Oh, you don't understand. Oh, you're a race traitor. I'm a fucking race traitor. Are you fucking kidding me? Why? Because I have an opinion. I left the fucking plantation. Jesus Christ! Actually, no. Hold on a second, because I'm about to fuck this bitch and her dogs. Don't fucking set me off. I'm about to fucking have a
I warned you guys not to show them, but you
everybody get to your battle stations, batten down the hatches.
Sit the fuck down.
James rants.
Okay, this is why I'm tired of these people, and I don't want them to fucking bring anymore. First off, I'm tired of them using the term brown to describe everything that they can fucking think of. Oh, you're brown, or you're brown person. No, I'm not fucking brown. I'm not the color of shit. Okay, I'm kind of an olive actually, but that's because that's on a discussion. But like, while we're on the fucking subject, I'm not fucking brown. Nobody is fucking brown people. There's no such thing as a brown race or something. This isn't fucking War Worlds where like there's the rock people and the ice people that are blue and shit bullshit like that. Okay, war planets. These people done got tired of black people, and now they want to have a whole bunch of new pets. So they want to bring in all the Muslims, and they want to bring in all the illegal aliens. The illegal aliens who belong to a bunch of drug cartels that want to kill my black ass because they just don't like black people. And they want to fucking see people like me hanging from a motherfucking tree like an ornament. While that's fucking going on, they also want to bring in all these Muslims who belong to a insane psychopathic cult founded by a pedophile that wants to see all Christians like me hanging from a fucking tree as well. So now they want to bring in these two groups of people that basically want to see me, my whole goddamn family, and everybody on my block dead. And they fucking sitting there and wondering why the hell I voted for Donald Trump, who at the very least is making the presidential promise that he's gonna build a wall to try to keep these people out so that I'm not gonna be dead by the time I'm 40. You know? That's why I fucking voted for Donald Trump.
Well, but you're evil though.
But I'm fucking evil, but this dog bitch is not normal.
So you're saying you're a grand wizard in the KKK?
Yes, I am.
You know what? She literally is.
I joined the fucking KKK at this point, you know, because you know what? They killed a couple hundred black people over the course of like 70 years or something, as opposed to the Mexicans that done killed about 3,000 or 4,000 of us in the last decade, and the Muslims that want to kill all of us. So I'll join the fucking KKK. They probably don't make
it's funny because that's actually true. I mean,
yes. Jesus Christ.
You know, it is funny that you called her this dog bitch though, because that's actually literally true.
I take that back. I don't want to insult bitches. Jesus Christ. I felt like calling her retarded too, but I didn't want to insult people with Down syndrome. Jesus Lord.
All right, I'm gonna bring in one more.
Rachel Maddow tax thing. That was the other thing that kind of just crossed my mind. You know, first of all, I wanted to say, like, y'all ragging on Rachel Maddow, talking about how she looks like that girl, like the boy from Ferris Bueller. I actually think she kind of looks attractive, but that's on another discussion.
Oh no, you don't.
She would look better if she had longer hair and she wasn't a Jew.
In all fairness,
she would look better if she wasn't trying. If she wasn't trying to scissor my mom.
She would look better with a brown paper bag over her head.
Hang on. In all fairness, now I'm a perfectly straight man, but I have to admit that I think Rachel Maddow is a very handsome man. All right?
Yeah,
Rachel Maddow is fucking
very dapper.
This whole thing with Trump's taxes, he sent those taxes, and I think there's time to everybody to just stop pretending that he gave them these taxes just to see what the fuck would happen. if she brought them out, because this guy comes on and says that a mysterious man, I think he said in a mustache, left it in his mailbox. That's what somebody told me.
It was John Miller.
He said like a mysterious man in a mustache left this thing in his mailbox, and it has the word client copy stamped across it in big fucking letters about as big as my handprint. So I'm just gonna go out on a limb, since the client copy is what the guy who gets the thing, who owns the thing, gets. I'm just gonna go on the limb and say that Donald Trump probably gave her this just to see what the fuck would happen. It's like, is she stupid enough to put this on the screen without actually reading it? Because
oh my God, hold on, look at this picture. She does look better with longer hair.
Yeah.
Well, that's true of almost all women.
That's true.
Why does she look like J.J. Abrams?
because she's Jewish.
Oh.
I wasn't gonna say it, but yeah.
Well, I mean, it's a racial features thing. You know, the nose and the extra wrinkles.
Oh, I thought it was because she'd probably make a shit film as well.
Heyo. Yeah, the big twist is there was no bad guy all along.
No, but that's perfect. That's a perfect put. The big twist with this Trump tax thing is that there's no mysterious man all along. This whole thing was it's the same thing with like the WikiLeaks and stuff. This whole thing was basically set up by him just to see who would react. You know, like you put something like this out here and you see who the fuck would react. I'm willing to bet that she's not the only one that got got a copy of these taxes. She's probably the only one that was actually dumb enough to actually put them on the air without reading through them. I'm pretty sure probably Chris Hayes and Lawrence O'Donnell and Keith Olbermann probably all got versions of this too, but they kind of read through it for a second, saw client copy, and went, "Oh no, fuck this!"
Put it on his fucking YouTube channel.
Olbermann,
he ain't on TV anymore.
Well, you know what was really funny was Van Jones, of all people. Actually, you know, everybody was like freaking out because they said, "I can't believe I'm agreeing with Van Jones." He goes, "This is a giant nothing burger." He said.
He's even he had to admit that this is clearly something that's in Trump's favor. It's not against him. You know what I mean?
Weren't people even saying Rachel Maddow was meant to be like a secret covert op?
Bill Crystal actually was like, I'm starting to think Rachel Maddow is on Trump's payroll, and I'm tweeting at him like, no, you never Trumpers are just this retarded.
Yeah, I saw that tweet. That was quick. That was good.
I was talking. You don't know who Bebe is, but I was talking with someone earlier, and we were discussing this. It's like, what the hell is with these people? Why are they so upset? Why are they so angry? Why are they so?
Go back to that last pick real quick. Rachel Maddow looks like she's one of the cast members of the Big Bang Theory in there.
Oh my God, that is exactly what I was thinking.
Oh my
like,
God, she does.
Why are these people so deranged that they
He's gained a lot of weight.
accept that they lost a fight? You know what I mean?
It's because they did lose a fight.
Because they're monsters.
Listen, they have had decades upon decades of people jobbing. That's why they're upset that they lost the fight. They thought they were just that strong.
Yeah.
Did they? Like, I don't really know.
They've never really lost.
I only joined the right side of history, literally the right side of history, about a couple years ago when Gamergate hit. So I don't even know. But the only thing I kind of remember from back in the day, it's like I feel like I'm looking back on someone else's life. The only thing I can kind of remember is that I remember hearing all the time about how W is trying to like set up death camps and stuff. I remember when they were talking about that, but they were saying like he's setting up these death camps and he's trying to get all the people put into them and stuff so that he can have all the minorities executed. I think they said that he wanted to have all the Muslims executed or something like that. And that's all that I remember they've talked about on MSNBC.
So this is nothing new then.
No. But it's like this has been happening for years. It's like if these death camps and stuff existed, didn't Obama shut them down or something? So it's like, what the hell are these people afraid of? Anyway.
Well, maybe they're just angry in less than a year. People from Filipino image boards have basically managed to dismantle a decade's worth of subversion.
Yeah, it's just insane. I went off completely on a rant. Bridge James, go hit him, hit him, man. I'm gonna take a moment.
All right, I'm gonna bring him. You guys can stay, but I'm gonna bring in one more caller. Then we're gonna wrap.
I'm just gonna try to calm down and stop thinking about dog crazy.
I'm surprised that triggered you more than the melanin-stealing white people who are attacking the black people from the planet.
But that was because I've read science fiction, so I know what science fiction is. This isn't science fiction. This is a crazy person. There's difference. There's a difference between somebody saying something stupid and somebody being insane. One of these things is dangerous to me, and the other one is just the people being stupid.
Oh, but speaking of black Mexican conflict, I was listening to the Savage Hippies. I don't know if any of you guys are listening to that show, but David Cole, he lives in L.A. and he said that Compton is now a Mexican neighborhood.
Oh shit!
Oh,
I guess the black people got straight out of there.
Well, the thing is,
so Compton is actually a Mexican neighborhood. Blacks and Mexicans don't get along very well.
Oh no! Have any of you guys seen the film End of Watch with Jake Gyllenhaal? It's like a cop film set in a sort of black spick neighborhood.
His name is Jake Gyllenhaal. Gyllenhaal.
All right, Irene, calm down.
He's not Welsh. It's Gyllenhaal.
Okay, but basically, a lot of the actual film itself, the black characters do often allude to the fact that they are essentially being gunned by the actual Mexicans coming in. It's no surprise.
Oh yeah, it's like anywhere you go where these two groups are together, it's like, and I'm not trying to be racist or anything. Like, well, I'm not being racist at all because there's no such thing as a Mexican race. It's a nationality, but that's going off on a tangent. Anywhere you ever been where there's a huge number of Mexicans and a huge number of blacks, you fucking immediately fucking notice what's going on. It looks like it. When I say it looks like the Purge. I'm not fucking kidding.
Oof.
You know, and
I'm kind of surprised though that the blacks kind of just I don't know if surrendered is the right word, but just
it's numbers. It's insane to see these things where it's like these people get their houses firebombed or get like shot up or whatever, and it's literally like, I mean, that South Park episode where he was talking about how like these people travel in groups of like 30 or something. That was being somewhat generous. But they really are houses and stuff.
Well, they got Zerg rushed.
Yeah, it is, and the reason why is that, like I said, they're the new pets for the liberals, for the rich college liberals who live out in fucking California somewhere where they don't have to fucking ever come into contact with either one of us, but they can look on from a distance and go, oh, isn't that cute? They're all on cocaine. Oh. But it doesn't matter if they all rape and murder each other. And don't even get me started with the fucking Muslims with all that shit. Jesus Christ.
The Muslims, don't you know that's a religion of peace? They didn't do nothing. They're good boys.
There's a religion of pieces of people scattered all over the goddamn floor because they didn't blow it up sometimes.
Oh, shit.
It's a religion of stepping in my fucking neighborhood. I blow their fucking rags off shit.
James will make them peaceful real quick.
That dog chick done set me the fuck off, man. This me like I don't brought out my fucking black self. Fuck this.
It's a lot. It's a lot to take in because when these guys, as Undertow used to say, we have such sights to show you, and I've never been the same since, despite the therapy and the medication.
I thought when I was a kid, and when I was a kid, they used to show us all that stuff in school about the black people from space and about how like we all the same race, with 110 soldier and all that. And I thought that was like the craziest shit I'd ever seen. I didn't know there was people putting out fucking bills to try to say like, oh, HIV is going to be legalized now. What? Legalized? What the fuck are you talking about? Well, it's like.
Were you talking about a recent article? It's not that they're being legalized. It's that you can willingly infect someone and not be arrested for it.
Yeah.
Oh,
fuck. Yeah, but English James, it's a gift. Don't you know that? It's a gift.
It's a gift.
Oh, yeah, I enjoy it.
The gift, you might say.
Oh, no. The crazy part is the people who have told me on more than this is like at least 2 separate occasions I've heard this, was that freedom of speech is a racist concept that was invented by white supremacists in the 1960s so that they could say mean things to black people. Exactly. Fucking exactly.
I can't even get mad about that. It's so stupid.
And I'm like, my response was after I got done making like groaning noises because I couldn't fucking get the fuck what the hell they were saying. I said, like, okay, so you're telling me that the shit that was written in the Constitution 200 years ago is actually fake, and it was created by the Ku Klux Klan in the 1960s so that they could come up with this concept of freedom of speech and be mean to black people. Well, as you see, the Constitution was also written by Klansmen. See, because the Ku Klux Klan, the Ku Klux Klan. Oh yes, the Ku Klux Klan was written by the Constitution was written by the original Klansmen. That's why they call themselves the founders, because they were the founders of the Klan. Oh yes.
God damn it!
And apparently, Jesus Christ.
Can someone read movie Bob so we can change the topic?
Oh yeah, movie Bob, and his thing that he came out today, he was saying that the only future that the world has is a borderless, governmentless technocracy, and anyone who doesn't understand that is just some ignorant, obsolete person that's going to be left behind.
Oh, clearly, because anyone who doesn't have that point of view never watched Star Trek, obviously.
No, anyone that has that point of view
realize that does Bob not realize that any kind of authoritarian quote unquote utopia is going to line his fat worthless ass up against the wall immediately?
That's what I said. No, it's like watch the absolute man, the obsolete man. Just watch. It's a Twilight Zone episode. It's on for like it's like 15 minutes long because that was back in the day. Watch it. It's like take about 15 minutes and it'll immediately explain to you what is wrong with all these people. They don't fucking get how fucking easily they can become obsolete like that.
I can see why he is actually for borderless countries, because I can't imagine his fat ass taking up more than 3 continents.
Oh God. Yeah, but no, the freedom of but just to keep everyone in check, so we all remember, freedom of speech is actually a new concept that was invented in the 1960s by the KKK as a way to protect themselves from criticism when they said racist things to black people. Yeah.
I just had this wonderful conversation about property rights earlier today, and they're basically saying it's okay to sacrifice someone's property rights at the expense of for the benefit of people, of the masses. And like, do you not realize you're inviting fascism here, you idiots?
Well, isn't that Marxism 101?
Yes.
We need to stop.
That's not fascism at all.
Okay, here's the thing. We need to stop blaming Karl Marx for all these people's problems. Okay, there's a difference between Karl Marx having an idea that, frankly, wasn't that bad. You know, everybody, we just gonna share all our money so there aren't these people starving out in the street, and that's not a bad idea. There's a difference between that and like 100 years later, somebody burning an American flag and saying the free speech was invented by the KKK in the 60s. There's a huge fucking difference between let's share our stuff so we don't all die and freedom of speech was created by the KKK about 30 years ago. You know, it's like at a certain point we need to stop blaming Marxism and socialism and communism and just this is an entirely new movement that's sprang up.
Sounds like something a commie pinko would say.
You know,
I get your point. I mean, I'm not trying to like let Marx off the hook, but I mean, you can't blame Marx for like that ridiculous bullshit.
Oh, I didn't say it was his fault.
Yeah.
But that
he couldn't
what they
possibly have known that these people would be this nuts.
Well,
no one could. I mean,
no.
who the fuck? You know.
Well,
no.
But it's very hard to out nuts and Karl Marx considering what he did in his life.
Well,
yeah. If you know anything about Karl Marx as a person,
I'm aware of the original communist founders. I know how they were. Stalin and them, kill 100 million people and stuff like that. Yeah.
No. But even long before
Stalin, I just mean Marx personally.
When he just the way he lived his life, he was a total fucking degenerate. He never worked, or didn't he have like a rich friend? I can't remember his name.
Friedrich Engels. Friedrich Engels.
That sounds like someone I know.
Yeah, it's actually I actually think that a lot of the Communist Manifesto was actually Engels' work, and he just put Marx's name on it so he wouldn't get in trouble.
Well, the funny thing is, while his wife, Karl Marx, and his kids were starving in London, he was busy fucking around in Europe and drinking.
Yeah, he was a deadbeat dad, and he never had a job. But for some reason, he got this. Whoever this Engels guy is, I don't know where his money came from. I think he was a trust fund baby.
Oh yeah,
and he supported Marx.
Yeah, his father was like a factory owner. That's the perfect personification. Well, that's the incorrect word. I'm just being a twat with good words. But basically, these people were trust fund babies. They haven't worked a day in their life.
No, I know that part. I remember reading that part somewhere. So someone literally used that term to describe them as if they were like.
Well, that's the whole thing about Marxists, though. Is like it'll always. I mean, the people who like are working class people. I mean, the people that keep society functioning. The people that fucking haul the trash, drive the fucking buses. That are the cops. I mean,
they don't take over Russia.
You work in Joe.
Oh,
well,
Russia.
No, I mean,
that's the other thing. Did y'all see those people? Their final statement on the Trump-Russian connection that somebody put out? I think it was Maxine Waters or something recently, and they put out a thing where they said that.
What about?
They said that they, huh?
No, go on. Tell us what happened.
They said this thing where they said that. I'm trying to remember exactly how they worded it. It was, we might not ever be able to find a direct connection between Russia and Trump, but that doesn't mean that it's not true. We just may never be able to prove that it's true. And I'm like, oh, okay, so you just made a claim, but that doesn't mean that the claim is false. It could be true. Yeah, okay, you know. And I told a friend of mine this. I literally said this. I said, yeah, you know, because it's just like that time when I fought a griffin to the death, you know, and stole his golden heart. You know, I have no evidence of this, but it's true. You know, and then me and my friend Anakin, we rode our pod racer over to the airport, and I hopped in the Millennium Falcon. I flew my golden palace in Arendelle while I live with my wife Elsa. But don't tell her I'm secretly cheating on her with Princess Twilight Sparkle. Also on Spider-Man in this one.
That was good, man. That was great. I want to read that comic.
Also, you can skip the parts where you cheat on Elsa with Twilight Sparkle. You can you can fade to black for those parts.
No, but the whole point, like, it's ridiculous. Like what they said as well.
Yeah,
I mean, we have no evidence of Trump and collusion between Trump and Russia, but that doesn't mean it didn't happen. That's like saying, well, I have no proof there's aliens living on Mars, but you know that doesn't mean they're not there.
I have no proof that Maxine Waters never raped a 9-year-old, but that doesn't mean she didn't do it. You know. Jesus Christ.
I can't believe that someone would say that Bob Saget raped and killed a girl in 1990.
I love that bit. That was the one Comedy Central roast where Gilbert Godfrey got up there and was like I'm so sick of this bit of all these people making up stories about how Bob Saget raped and killed a girl in 1990. And if you have any evidence that Bob Saget raped and killed a girl in 1990, you should stop gossiping and go immediately to the police.
I'm so tired of hearing that Chuck Schumer had sex with an infant a few weeks ago. I have no evidence of this, but I heard so. You know. Some people told me online.
I am personally, even though I'm a big critic of his, I'm tired of all these rumors about how Bob Chipman eats his own feces. You know, I really don't think that's fair.
Jokes aside, Ted Cruz is still a Zodiac killer, right?
No.
No, that's serious. All joking aside, I saw some
Ted
people
Cruz
online that
will
prove
be
that.
the Zodiac killer because he's actually a time traveler.
Oh,
and he gave him the idea.
Kind of prove that. I forgot. I had seen it like a while ago. It was like a year ago. But someone actually put like a YouTube video out. But they kind of proved that to me. But you know, I don't have any proof in the court of law or anything. But my personal opinion, they kind of proved some of that shit to me. I was like, damn, this is concise shit. You know, where people were at certain days and stuff. I'm like,
No, because Ted Cruz would have been 3 years old during this.
Again, Ted Cruz is a time traveler. He will be the Zodiac killer, and we gave him the idea. That's the tragedy of it.
Okay.
I can't believe it.
All right. Well, I was going to bring one other caller on, but it doesn't look like he's responding, so I'm probably going to go ahead and wrap this up. So, anybody got any closing thoughts?
Pinochet did nothing wrong.
That he did not.
I have one thing to say regarding Black James. I think it was very cruel for you to expose him to the reality of Whitney, Wisconsin. That was uncalled for. And
yes,
I want to apologize.
I may need to do one of the "What do you know about" videos on Whitney, Wisconsin.
Yes.
The problem is her channel's down now, so I might actually have to do just a bit of research to find her stuff again.
Oh God, work!
Well, no,
I would not want that job.
No, it's not that I'm afraid to do research. It's that I'm afraid to do research on Whitney, Wisconsin.
I just want to say that Hitler, when people say Hitler did nothing wrong, technically speaking, he actually didn't, because he never killed none of them Jews. What happened was he was just a really good public speaker that convinced a bunch of other people to do this. Technically, they could have said no at any time.
Everything that happened was legal.
Yeah. Oh no, that doesn't bother me. That doesn't bother me. Okay, that picture.
My grandmother died.
Oh, by the way, this represents right here the quality of the two fandoms represented by me and Black James. That's a Warhammer 40K dreadnought ripping one of his ponies in half.
No.
That's viciously cruel. Holy
Hold on,
shit.
no, it's not. Nobody likes that character. Everybody hates him.
I thought that was a Transformer, because isn't that the joke? They're both owned by Hasbro.
No. That's a 40K dreadnought, and it is way more expensive than a Transformer.
What about the rainbow attaching the two pieces of the
Oh, that's
pony?
the blood. That's the blood.
She's no. I'm not kidding when I say this too. I want you to understand this. This is dead science. She's the dyke ex-girlfriend of Rainbow Dash, and nobody fucking likes her. So do whatever the fuck y'all want with her.
Okay,
Just leave Fluttershy and Derpy alone, and we're cool.
Yeah, Derpy, the background character, it literally stands in the
With
back.
Down syndrome.
Yeah, great.
I don't know what any of this is.
I don't know where the final thoughts went.
Just a quick programming note. I am planning on getting another episode of what do you know about up here soon. I'm going to have my dad sit down with me, and I'm going to explain bronies to him.
You stole that idea of what do you know from me, because I sat y'all down and explained to y'all about what the black niggas from space, black gay niggas from space thing is. You stole that fucking idea from me.
And
Bechtloff, that's cruel to your father. I think that's parental abuse.
Yes,
it's illegal nowadays.
Well, trust me, it's one of the tamest topics I could really sit him down and I mean, I could be showing him Whitney, Wisconsin videos, you know.
Where do you start? That's like the Ben-Hur of videos. That's gonna be like 5 hours.
If I may make a suggestion, Bechtloff, you might want to consider doing this. There is on Netflix a documentary about bronies. You might want to just do it like a commentary track, where you just watch that with him and record your reactions, and just have a time code in it. You say, okay, if you're on the video, press play now. You know.
Well, hold on. Is when you said it's a documentary, is it a documentary of like their followers, or is it a documentary of the?
It's on bronies, I guess.
It's about the bronies, and it's
the bronies. So
it's
bronies.
fairly neutral to partially positive, actually, which does not stop it from being horrifying.
They had like a special on or something I saw like once where they actually had the characters talking like they were actors and stuff, like about their roles and stuff. That was hilarious.
Yeah, I think that was on part of it. Maybe.
The other programming note for those of you interested, I was on Jordan Owens' channel last night, talking about Donald Trump, among other things. That was about a 2-hour live stream, I think. So check that out, give it a listen. Once again, check out the sponsor, Race Riot Apparel. The more of you that check out the sponsor, the more my sponsors want to continue being sponsors. So that helps me out. And the tip jar, if you would be so kind, that also helps me out. And the old like, comment, and subscribe, that also helps me out. That helps me keep going.
And press the little ding-a-ling bell icon so you always know when we put something up.
Oh yeah, that's the thing. You know, you would think just subscribing to a channel would let you know when something is up.
Now
on
they
that
created
channel.
the little bell because they wanted some people to not get the prop. They wanted to fuck over people like JonTron that got red pilled, you know. So some people might not remember to hit the little bell. Get fucked over.
Smash that.
It's like here's how YouTube should work. Everything you're subscribed to, right? When you go onto the main YouTube page, it should show you the most recent stuff in order of the various things you're subscribed to. Instead, it shows you half of the things you're subscribed to, and then here's another bunch of shit you're not interested in, by the way.
Y'all should also check out Comic Show Post Show with Fool Killer 99. That he's also getting red pill because he hangs out a lot on Tumblr, and he's getting like constantly shit upon because he doesn't like the character Iris on Flash, and they think that he's a racist as a result. Just to put this into perspective.
What was it Hank Hill said on one of those early King of the Hills where he's like, how come I'm only allowed to hate, or I'm only allowed to dislike fellow white people? It was one of those early episodes when the Asian neighbor first moved in. He's like, I don't like that guy. And they're all like, you don't like him because he's Asian. He's like, how come I'm only allowed to dislike other white people?
I never understood how. I never understood. I'm being genuine. Like this is like genuine voice. I'm being serious here. I never understood how fucking persecuted, like right-wing people in general and non-minorities in particular were in this country until I ended up joining one of those groups. And now that I'm a conservative, I'm conservative and I haven't been an atheist in years. I am getting like constantly berated and badmouthed and told how confused I am and I don't understand and oh, you stupid, or you a race traitor, you an Uncle Tom and stuff like that. And I'm like, yeah, I'm an Uncle Tom because I joined forces with the party that was founded basically as a military coup to try to free my black ass, as opposed to the party that their response to my black ass being freed was to start the KKK. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I'm an Uncle Tom. Right.
Yeah,
All
that's
right.
pretty much something else.
On that note, I guess I'm going to wrap it up for the week. Thanks everybody for being on. Thanks everybody for listening.
For letting me on.
No problem. Always a pleasure. And that's about all we got for this week, folks. Bechtloff out.